We're here at Roosevelt University today. We're really excited to be here. The great thing about today is that the Youth Summit is entirely youth-led. The CHA Youth Council came together and they told us what they wanted this day to be about.
I think it's really fun. And I wish that I would have came last year if there was one year before, because, you know, like, I met a lot of new people.
We want them to leave today to know that they are actually change agents and they can create the change, that they now have the skill set to create that change. And what we hope is that our youth leave today with a more solutions-oriented approach to the issues in their city.
When I first started MCFA, I was like, you know, some kids are like really shy and stuff and they don't know how to speak out. So I hope today kids come like that and they walk out with like a whole different mindset and view the world a little bit differently. Like, I want them to walk out knowing like, oh, I'm passionate about something and I want to change it and I want to speak about it.
Within the 2 years that I've been here, I've seen a lot of youth been able to step up and speak their voices. Because there's some youth who are scared, but if you give them a little push, they're able to come out and talk what they want to talk about.
I wasn't used to people asking me questions. I wasn't used to going to like resource events and stuff like that. I wasn't used to none of that. I was always at home. So when I got the opportunity to get out the house, I'm like, okay, sure, I'm gonna go do this. And then when I got out the house, I was kind of skeptical about it, but you know, I opened up to it. I said, okay, what could be the harm in doing this? And then I grew as a person.
We are so excited to be celebrating our 10th anniversary Operation Warm event at CHA. We're giving out 9,000 coats today. We're expecting over 3,000 families from nearly every neighborhood in the city.
Families come back year after year and not only get a new coat for their kid who's outgrown the one from last year, but get connected with all these resources.
This is something that we got to continually support with our partnerships. Wells Fargo, Operation Warm, bring other parties to the table because it's just such a need.
This is great for the kids. They're so excited. You see lots of smiles on their faces. They're getting a brand new coat that is just for them. It's a fun, festive atmosphere here. You've got, you know, mascots from the Chicago Bulls and from some of our corporate partners. You got the music. It's just a fun, lively event that is for them.
I was really excited because when they had it in my size and my favorite colors, I was like super excited. I was like jumping up and down with excitement because I like these two colors and it's like comfy and warm.
I like it because I like the color and I tried it on, it's very comfortable and it seems like it could really protect me in the winter.
All year long, people say, we're going to have the senior gala this year, and they ask, when is it going to be, where is it going to be, when are tickets going to be on sale. It's not only an event on December 9th, it's just in everyone's spirit all year long.
This is my third time coming to the Senior Gala and it's been fabulous. The togetherness, all the photographers are fantastic in here. We were able to take our pictures last year and take them home, but the atmosphere was just so grand. It was beautiful. And entertainment, oh, yeah, take me back to when I was younger.
It is great to be able to have an organization like CHA to work with here in Chicago. Oak Street Health, we're really glad that we have such a great partner to promote senior welfare and to have people do well.
it makes the seniors feel appreciated. And it gives us something to do, something nice to do. And you get a chance to dress up and come out to a nice hotel. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Today we are finally here. A lot of people say we couldn't be here. We weren't going to be here. Breaking ground for the new Lathrop, bringing a new and better future for our residents and this community.
To be here on this historic day as we bring Lathrop Homes back to where it was intended to be, a place of beauty, of openness for the community, is very exciting, and for the residents who live here.
This is the culmination of 8 years of work. So many partners to get here, to begin work, to start the redevelopment of the Lathrop Homes.
I'm just proud today to be part of this. I'm proud that we're going to have not only the affordable housing and the public housing on site. With your fight and all of you, we got an agreement with the CEO that the courts codified that all of the units that aren't returned here will return to the north side, not another part of the city.
We're rehabbing 16 of the historic residential buildings north of Diversey and adding 1 new residential building. And in total, that's 414 beautifully designed, and in the case of the existing buildings, fully rehabbed homes that we're creating.
How do you build a successful mixed income community? And I think, again, the residents are key. And we will make sure, and we are committed to making sure that all of the residents are able to come together as Lathrop buildings get turned over so that we have a successful mixed income community.
But now I know what that old saying said on the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy had to say, and she kept saying, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And she said, I journeyed out to look for something that was already here, right here in my own backyard. All I had to do was look in my own backyard. And it was there. I want to thank you all for coming into our backyard and helping us find that dream.
One, two, three.
If you're going to college, make some noise. College students, make some noise.
We're proud to celebrate right here in the room with tomorrow's leaders who have worked hard and are now headed off to college.
I really do want every incoming freshman in this room to have the mentality that you are where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Through the generosity of an anonymous corporate donor, we are also providing each student today with a refurbished laptop. Yes!
For nearly a decade, the CHA's Owner Symposium has been the premier event for property owners, managers, and investors. Each year we add something new that enhances the experience greater than a year before. Oh wow, I remember this picture. People tell me all the time how much they love the Owner Symposium. We've been doing this a long time, but you know what? It just keeps getting better. Here's what you can expect when you attend the symposium. A packed agenda of seminars, panel discussions, and interactive workshops hosted by industry leaders, opening session and keynote presentation, networking, free lunch, and an afternoon raffle, and most importantly, the opportunity to connect with approximately 1,000 industry professionals. If you or someone you know is interested in learning more about the HCB program, or you are involved but want to learn how to be successful, this is the event for you. The Owner Symposium will be held Saturday, October 6th at the Hyatt Regency Chicago, located at 151 East Upper Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois. We hope to see you there.
Today we're here at the 9th Annual CHA Owners Symposium to provide information to our owners who work in the program with us so that they can serve Chicago better, so that we can serve Chicago better, so we can build stronger families, build stronger neighborhoods, and ultimately build a stronger city.
This event is amazing, and it's a lot that I don't know, and it's a lot that I'm learning from this event. I have about 5 or 6 pages of notes. You know, I'm going to go over everything, all of my different packets, everything you need in order to close on a property or maintain a property. Everything is here.
Having Deputy Mayor Zopp here, she brings a perspective that is crucial for our owners to really focus on, because it's not just about their property, right? It's about how their property plays a role in that community.
You can't have a strong neighborhood if people don't have quality housing options and the chance to have an affordable, clean, beautiful place to stay. You are all here because you're a critical part of making those options happen for us here at the City of Chicago.
It's been a great show because it's been well attended, and they've been asking questions about what we can do and how to make their properties better. I think it lets people get a lot of knowledge on different products and new products coming out.
And we were overwhelmed with the attendance. There was not one chair, 2 chairs were only vacant. And 2 people told me they had been to the CHA Symposium last year, went to the seminar, saw the property tax assessment seminar, and came back this year for that. So that was, you know, they're hungry for that information.
There's an opportunities that we can network, we can provide information, some new information. We want to make sure that everyone's on track about our new initiatives, our current initiatives, and how we can do our job better to serve our residents and serve our owners.
This summer, our youth not only learned in the classroom, but in the field at companies across the city of Chicago. Our summer youth programs are important because we focus on our academic enrichment. Our kids are in the classroom, so they're not experiencing any of the summer learning loss. It gives them an opportunity to continue with what they've learned during the school year. They're not missing the opportunity to learn more about fields such as, you know, science, math.
I like it a lot, and it's like I'm learning, I'm having fun, I'm meeting new people, having friendship with the teachers.
So our young people had an awesome time traveling around the city where they were able to visit places like 1871, ComEd. They went to Wrigley Field where they visited the Cubs. They went to Cinespace, the Greater Food Depository. So our youth were able to go to the companies to have more of an inside look and to get a little more of the ins and outs of the companies and what they do on a day-to-day. They were able to experience what it is like real time and meet some of the people who work at the companies. So this is a great opportunity for them because they not only get the classroom experience, but they can go out and really see what it is their careers are centered around. They get kind of real-time, one-on-one experience. They see the ins and outs of what it is they're interested in.
Those great opportunities and so forth, they get to sit there and brag about that. They get to talk about that. It always seems like there's a first here, and I don't want to do the first. I want to do the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So I want to continue. This is what CHA is all about.
Good morning again. Good morning. My name is Jack Markowski, and I'm chairman of the Finance and Audit Committee. Committee members just finished meeting in closed session, and we are ready to start the business portion of the Finance and Audit Committee meeting. Lee, may we have a roll call to establish a quorum? Here.
Here.
Here. Thank you, Lee. Let the record reflect that Chairman Hooker and Vice Chair Chico are also in attendance. At this time, speakers are reminded to register at the sign-in desk to address the committee. Registration will continue for the next 5 minutes. After 5 minutes have expired, the secretary will not accept any more cards. As a reminder, comments from the audience will be entertained at the conclusion of staff's presentations and discussion by commissioners of all of the items listed on the agenda. And I just want to remind you, if you do want to testify, go to the sign-in desk. You have 5 minutes to sign up to submit one of these cards, and you'll have one opportunity to testify at the end of the staff presentations of all of them. The first voting matter today is the minutes for the Finance and Audit Committee meetings of May 15, 2018. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
In favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions or recusals? Hearing none, the motion carries, and the May 15th minutes are approved as submitted. We have 5 items for consideration by the Finance and Audit Committee. We will start with item number 1, recommendation to accept and submit to HUD the CHA Single Audit Report, Financial Statement Audit, and Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for the year ended December 31, 2017. Item number 1 will be presented by Alan Fawcett, Director of Audit Management and Compliance, and Michael Moran, Chief Financial Officer.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Staff and audience. We presented to you in closed session the presentation by our external auditors, Ernst & Young.
Mr. Jones, stop killing seniors. Mr. Jones, stop killing seniors. Mr. Jones, stop killing seniors. Mr. Jones, stop killing seniors.
So you're out of order, please. Please sit down. You'll have to sit down.
Stop killing seniors. Mr. Jones, stop killing seniors. Mr. Jones,
So
stop killing
if you don't stop, we're going to have to ask you to be removed from the meeting. Will you please sit down?
Let's do a 5-minute recess.
For nearly a decade, the CHA's Owner Symposium has been the premier event for property owners, managers, and investors. Each year we add something new that enhances the experience greater than the year before. Oh wow, I remember this picture. People tell me all the time how much they love the Owner Symposium. We've been doing this a long time, but you know what? It just keeps getting better. Here's what you can expect when you attend the symposium. A packed agenda of seminars, panel discussions, and interactive workshops hosted by industry leaders, opening session and keynote presentation, networking, free lunch, and an afternoon raffle, and most importantly, the opportunity to connect with approximately 1,000 industry professionals. If you or someone you know is interested in learning more about the HCB program, or you are involved but want to learn how to be successful, this is the event for you. The Owner Symposium will be held Saturday, October 6th at the Hyatt Regency Chicago, located at 151 East Upper Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois. We hope to see you there.
All right, we will reconvene, and I'll ask the secretary to call the roll once again.
Commissioner Brewer?
Here.
Commissioner Hart? Commissioner Matos?
Here.
Commissioner Markowski?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Lee. And now let's say, in addition to the committee members, we have Vice Chair Chico, Commissioner Hooker, Commissioner Mildred Harris are also in the at this meeting in attendance. I just want to say to people too, you know, so we have time for public testimony, and I had said if you do intend to testify, you have to submit one of these cards, and you have, we'll say you have 5 minutes more from now to do that, but you can't disrupt the meeting, and anybody who disrupts the meeting out of order like that will be asked to leave right away, because we have business at hand. We have to proceed with the business, and I ask for everybody's cooperation in that. And if you have an opinion, a strong opinion on something, you will be given time to state that opinion at the proper time in the meeting. So let's proceed again. We were on item number 1, which was recommendation to accept and submit to HUD CHA single audit report, the financial statement audit, and comprehensive annual financial report for the year ended December 31, 2017.
Yes, good morning, committee.
And you can introduce yourself again, Alan. And
I'm
Mike.
Alan Fawcett, Director of Audit Management and Compliance.
CHA board, replace the elevators now.
Sir, you know, I just warned people of that. You're not gonna wait till your time to testify? Well, if you won't wait, I'm sorry. We have to ask you, you're gonna be escorted out now.
CHA board, replace the elevators now. CHA board, replace the elevators now.
So if you do that, you give up your opportunity to testify at the appropriate time. So let's continue, Alan.
Okay. We presented the reports in closed session, and if there are any other questions, we're available to answer them. We request that you approve this item.
All right, so we had a presentation and discussion with our auditors and Ernst & Young, who are present here also. Any other questions, comments from commissioners about the audits? Nope. Okay, thank you, Alan. Let's move on to item number 2.
Shame on you, Mr. Chico.
Ladies. You know, if you want to make a point, there will be a time. Security, please remove them. I'm sorry.
Shame on you, Mr. Chico. Stop it now. You neglect the safety in our building. Stop it now.
Ladies,
Shame on you, Mr.
security is...
Chico. You neglect safety in our building. Stop it now. Shame on you, Mr. Chico. Shame on you, Mr. Chico. You neglect that safety in our building. Now. Stop it. Mr. Chico, stop it now. Stop. You neglect safety in our building. Stop it now. Stop it. You neglect the safety in our building. Stop it now. Now, Mr. Chico, not later. Now, today. Stop it now. Stop it now. Stop it now. Stop it now. Stop it now.
All right, once again, I say if you can do that and you can be escorted out, or you could make your comments in an organized fashion at the appropriate time. So we'll move on to item number 2 again, authorization to issue CHA general obligation bonds, Series 2018. Item number 2 will be presented by Mike Moran, the Chief Financial Officer.
Morning, Commissioners. We are requesting authorization for a not to exceed $350 million bond offer with a rate not to exceed 7%.
Oh, come on. Security, once again, we have to move these people out. Oh, I know. Please leave the room. Security is escorting you out now.
What are you hiding from? CHA has no transparency.
All right, who's next? Why don't you just get up and shout it now? We can move you, and then there'll be. It is a kind of a joking matter. It is. So, all right, we're on to item number 2, which is authorization to issue CHA general obligation bonds, Series 2018.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're requesting authorization for a not to exceed $350 million bond issue, a rate not to exceed 7%. The proceeds from the bond issue will be used for capital projects. Any questions?
So what's the total amount of these bonds?
The amount would be $350 million, not to exceed amount of $350 million.
Okay, and what will it be used for?
It's going to be used for capital projects. We've gotten together with our capital construction staff, our development staff, our RAD staff. We've put together a 5-year capital plan, and the proceeds will be used for that capital plan.
And how will these bonds be paid off?
We'll be paying with the funding we receive, our MTW funding. Principally, it's going to be our admin fees and rent.
All right, you have to leave the room. Fine. You have to leave the room too. It's time. Security is going to escort you out now. Go ahead. All right, we're asking, how are these bonds going to be paid off?
So again, we'll be using our MTW funds. Principally, it's going to be administrative fees and rents.
And how many bonds do we have outstanding right now?
Approximately about $15 million of Build America bonds, which were issued in 2010.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions about the issuance of these bonds? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mike. And thanks, Mike and Mike. Up next is item number 3, recommendation to adopt the revised CHA debarment policy and procedures. This item will be presented by Eric Akami, Deputy Chief Procurement and Contracts.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
So this morning we have a recommendation to adopt the revised CHA debarment policy and procedures. We're doing this to provide more flexibility to our debarment policy. We also want to align CHA's debarment policy and procedures with the other sister agencies. We're not going to...
All right, I'm sorry, you have to leave now too. Security. Security. Ladies, you have to leave. Ladies, you have to go. No. All right, let's try to get order back again. You know, I would say I understand demonstrations, but the thing is, if anybody actually had something to say and you wanted to say it coherently, you could submit one of these cards and you would be given the floor for 2 minutes to say whatever you wanted to say about CHA, transparency, service, so forth. But those, by doing it that way, you don't get to make your point. So, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we revised the department policy and procedures to help protect the integrity of the procurement process, to provide more flexibility in managing our debarment process, and also we wanted to align our debarment process with those of our sister agencies. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole debarment policy and procedures, but I did want to mention a couple of highlights. So one, there's a new clause from the Mayor's Procurement Reform Task Force regarding automatic reciprocal debarment. And so what that means is CHA can automatically impose debarment on a person or a vendor if they've been debarred from a government agency for fraud, theft, or any criminal act. And another highlight, the debarment period was changed from 5 years to 3. It could be more than 3 years if circumstances require that, but it's been moved from 5 years to 3.
What, you said reciprocal, what other government agencies are in this pool, so to speak?
And our sister agencies, the City of Chicago, city colleges, CTA, Park District, I said CTA, CPS. That's CPS. How could I forget CPS?
So we all have similar standards.
Yes, and we're trying to align with their standards.
Okay. Commissioners, other questions, comments?
The debarment also applies in situations, or could apply in situations where there's a violation of CHA policies as well, right?
Okay, so contract performance does not fall under automatic reciprocal debarment. I think we would give due process.
Yeah, it's not automatic, but there's a process in here for debarment if there's a violation of certain CHA policies.
Yeah, there is a process, yes.
Any other questions, comments from commissioners? Okay, thank you, Eric. We will, so the way we're doing is after the presentation of everything by the staff, we will have testimony and from everybody. So you'll be recognized. Thank you. The next two items, number 4 and number 5, will be presented by James Bebley, the Chief Financial Officer. Starting with number 4, recommendation to adopt the Social Security Number Protection Policy. Mr. Bebley.
Mr. Chairman, the item 4 is designed to protect the Social Security information of individuals, employees, tenants, and contractors. This is part of an ongoing effort to review and revise, update all of our policies. This policy requires that we identify the extent to which Social Security numbers are used, whether or not they're required to be used, and the process for protecting that information, including the transmission of it internally when it is made available. We are required to establish standards, which we will. We are also required to establish standards for the protection and maintenance of the information so that it's not susceptible to theft. This will be an ongoing effort. It will, once you approve this policy, there'll be a set of guidelines implemented and training given to all CHA employees.
And Mr. Bebley, I see that this is complies with the Illinois Identity Protection Act.
Correct.
And this is your office's efforts to fully review and comply with that act in all ways.
Yes, it's a joint effort.
Okay. Other comments, questions from commissioners? Okay, thank you for number 4. And the last matter up for consideration is item number 5. Recommendation to extend the contract with Pugh, Jones, and Johnson, P.C. for ethics officer and EEO officer services.
This firm currently serves as the ethics officer and the EEO officer for the Chicago Housing Authority. We're asking that you extend this opportunity for another year. During that period of time, we will be reviewing internally our procedures and processes to make a determination and a recommendation to you ultimately. So whether or not we should leave these services as an external matter, or if we should bring the services in-house.
Okay. And we originally had a contract that was for 1 year with provisions for a 1-year renewal, and that's what this is?
Correct.
Okay. As you said, we're evaluating whether we should bring it in-house or continue to outsource this.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners, on this one? Nope. Thank you, James. Thank you for the presentation. We will now start the public participation part of the meeting. Registration is closed. As a reminder, speakers have one opportunity to address the committee on any item or items listed on the Finance and Audit Committee agenda. Lois will let you know when you have 30 seconds remaining and when your time is up. As a reminder, personal attacks and abusive language leveled at commissioners, staff, residents, or other individuals will not be tolerated. Individuals who are disruptive during the meeting will be given a warning and will, if necessary, be removed from the meeting. Let me look at these and get. Okay. So here are the speakers. The first registered speaker is George Blakemore. Mr. Blakemore.
Good morning to our citizens, our legal citizens of the USA, and to staff and members of the board. Reading those items, the first one is dealing with an auditor. Was that firm a black firm? If not, did they have a subcontract? Who was the major auditor? When most of these people are black people that's housed in these concentration camps of CHA. Was this major auditor a black firm? Go to the second one, Mr. Blakemore. These bonds obligation. Did you have black brokers, bondsmen, that's going to get some of this $15 million on this $350 million that plan for your capital plan? Did you have some black brokers there? And if so, how much money did they receive? Were they the sub or were they the major? Go to the third one, procurement. And this borrowing. You don't have to do what the city is doing, what water reclamation is doing. You are standalone, supposed to be independent. You don't have to piggyback with the city department. What Emmanuel is doing, that's separate from CHA. So why would you do it? He must control this too. The mayor must control CHA. You debarred it from our sister agency when you made that presentation. I came here to check you. And all of you went through this and you said, silent this betrayal. Perhaps you had a previous meeting. No conflict. So I will.
Mr. Blakemore, your time is up.
Well, Mr. Blakemore is being seated. He's been heard and he's been seen. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. I would say we haven't conducted votes on anything yet. The votes will be conducted at the end. Thank you. Tamika Holt, you're next. Tamika? Here she comes. Good morning.
So, the debarment process. First of all, how's everyone doing today?
We're doing great.
Good. The debarment process, the new proposed changes, where can we get that in its entirety? Yeah, it's these cliff notes, and we need to read documents, and I'm curious about these new changes, because if you did a survey and you asked all of these new businesses, our Section 3 resident-owned businesses coming up, ask them, what does debarment mean? And see the first two explanations or definitions they give you before they even go to the business part of it with dealing with CHA. I say all that to say this. I've been asking for almost 2 years now for legal services for resident-owned businesses, especially the ones of us that's starting out, have no clue what's going on with the world around us in the business where all we know is we know how to do the work. Once again, it's always, I'm not going to say it's falling on deaf ears, but there's always a reason to push it back. When you start workshops, that's not helping us, because our situations, each business have their own tailored issues that they need legal advice with. And one workshop is not a one-stop shop for either business. So saying that, okay, you're going to put out RFP process, I get that. But what do we do in the in between time while we coming across legal questions and issues that we may have? The workshop doesn't do it for us, because everybody's issue is not universal.
You have 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tamika. Jackie Page.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
Good morning. I'm here to speak about the issue of debarment also. I read the debarment policy, and I was curious about a lot of things that I read. The policy says CHA may impose debarment immediately if any other government agency for cause debars an individual or an entity. Well, which policies will you keep, and which policies will you not use? Some agencies debar individuals for traffic tickets or non-payment of child support. And the policy also said that a person could be debarred if they did not complete a contract. Or maybe no, that was for if you got prosecuted for not completing a contract. But again, it needs clarity. Which other policies will you adopt and which other policies will you leave? And it says that even though a cause of debarment is listed, the policy also states that the existence of a cause for debarment doesn't necessarily mean that a person will be debarred. So this reads like debarment is at the discretion of the contract administrator, leaving the respondents at the whims and the mercy of the contract administrator. This doesn't seem like it's fair or transparent.
You have 30 seconds.
Connected respondents could get a pass, like these politically connected respondents. They could get a pass, whereas the residents could be held to the specific letter of the law. It just seems like this policy is wrought for ethics violations.
Thank you, Ms. Page. Bernadette Williams.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to speak on the debarment too. I also research on the city website, and I see a lot of names. What do you all have in place of these companies who change their names and then try to come back to the table? I want to say this is my personal opinion. Since I have been an LAC president, you know, I speak for my residents and not for myself. So a lot of us get upset at Gene But I always say, and there's a lot of people feel the same way I feel, we haven't had a CEO since Terry Peterson. And you work with the residents, Gene, so I give you kudos. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Calvin Jackson.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to speak about disbarment and also about Section 5. Now, when you come to the disbarment part of it after reading this, and he did state that any criminal act. Now, I'm part of the, I go to the Park District meetings, also Cook County Land Bank meetings, and sometimes we have to do actions at these meetings, because we call us an activist or something. And we do get arrested. And it gets thrown out later because look at that. So if I get arrested at one of these political activities, even if, it's like some of the people that came here, they didn't get arrested. Well, I'm going to get disbarred, because I'm acting within my civil rights, to protest. How fair is that? And then when you look into this, 2.2 causes for disbarment, lack of business integrity or honesty. Now, if I decide to cut corners or in some kind of way, saving money and everything, do I get disbarred for that? Who gets to regulate, if I'm business integrity or and stuff like that? And then it says number B1 says a failure to perform in these transactions. Now, these transactions are pretty tricky, especially when we get into the tracker situation, which my question wasn't answered last time about the administration part of
You have 30
LCC tracker.
seconds.
Of what
Okay.
you say? Administration part of what?
Of the LCP tracker. They're making mistakes over there, and I get on there on Saturdays and stuff. You can't get on and all that, and that could cause for us to have problems getting on. 30 seconds. Just finished reading this book on the poorhouse, subsidized housing in Chicago. And like the young lady just said, Gene, you're doing a fantastic job, and the board is doing a fantastic job as far as the leadership is concerned when it comes to the ethics. You should continue to have an outside ethics person doing,
Your time
working
is
with
up,
you
sir.
guys. Because there's a culture, not from, within the staff here, anti-black male culture here within CHA. When it gets past, Derek and Jose and everything, you guys push things on. But then when we get to the staff that's within CHA, it's just like this book was saying, all along from the 1800s. There's a culture of disrespect, classism, between building managers that you have outside that you've got managing your sites and everything. So I want you guys to look into that, the ethics parts of, it's kind of like this is a Starbucks, and your staff needs to learn how to respect the people, that they're serving.
Thank you. Thank you. Michael Sullivan.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Contractors and board members, constituents. Speaking on this debarment program, my issue is this. Here I have a set of prints and permit for Lincoln Perry Annex that we've been trying to complete. We could have completed the common area last month. We're 95% completion on each floor, but there's obstacles in our way. Because we're not able to perform, because they're not acknowledging, the construction managers and acknowledging the permit that the Fire Prevention Bureau has set forth, along with the set of stamped drawings, we can't perform. So if we can't perform, that means we're deficient. And with that being said, is that grounds for debarment? Because this, we're trying to do what we have to do. I have a set of drawings that you can look at. It's got the permit and everything. I've had this meeting for the past couple of weeks, and I can't get any answers. And I've given it to all the necessary people that need to have them. So that debarment thing, there needs to be some more clarity to it, and we need to move forward with the issue of these permits, because evidently whoever's the project manager or construction manager over there, I don't know if they really have experience with dealing with fire protection. I got 30
You
years
have
of
30
this.
seconds.
You know, let us do our job.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that was the last. Yeah, I will. Yeah. Since that was the last registered speaker, on behalf of the Finance and Audit Committee members, thank you for your comments. Now, Commissioners, we've heard the comments from the public. I'm going to ask for if there's any further discussion on the committee's agenda. I'd like to say a few different things myself. So there's a lot of feeling about debarment here. And James, I'm going to ask you some of the things here. It raises the question, clearly there's subjectivity that's involved in the administration of this. So one question will be about who is the overall administrator of this? What's the process? I heard a question about how do we deal with entities that change names, go from one name to another. I heard a question about criminal actions and the subjective nature of that, perhaps, or what criminal actions matter. And then I would ask for the staff in CHA to publish the debarment policy. The people who say they don't know what the debarment policy is, let's make that clearly available to everybody, so that everybody at least knows it. But James, could you respond to some of these?
So, going in no particular order, I understand from the Secretary that the policy was published, and I think a few of the speakers had it in hand and had read it. So it is available, and perhaps we just need to clarify where it is posted.
It's posted on the CHA website, and it's also included in your in the distribution package this morning.
And it'll be permanently on the CHA website, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So another point regarding the reciprocal debarment amongst the sister agencies, that is intended to address criminal actions, and that's typically a situation where someone has actually been prosecuted, found guilty, or gone through some other mechanism where there's a third-party determination of guilt, and the city or the other agency has adopted that finding and used it as a basis for debarment. Here at the CHA, we from time to time have situations where the OIG investigates a matter, forwards it to the appropriate prosecutorial agency. They are successful in prosecution, and we then debar those individuals. When we do a debarment, it is for the named company, so but it also extends to the principals. So it is designed to catch exactly the situation where someone has acted improperly under a corporate name and then came back and reorganized under a different name or reorganized under their own names. The process is designed to catch that and to impact all of the potentially impacted parties. Now, I want to distinguish that from non-criminal discretionary debarment. So, for example, if the city of Chicago has debarred someone for performance reasons, that is not an automatic debarment here. They could be here working under a different contract, under different circumstances that have nothing whatsoever to do with what happened at the city. So that is not an automatic debarment.
I think that's who administers it. Is this administered through your office? Because people are talking about the discretion, the subjectivity. I mean, who's the person ultimately that is administering this?
So it is administered primarily by the procurement office. And as I said in my earlier example, typically the procurement director moves on a recommendation from some source. It might be the Office of the Inspector General. It may be some notification that we get from local law enforcement agencies. It may be a credible report provided by a citizen that we follow up on and investigate. But it starts there. The process then goes to our chief operating officer. There is an opportunity after those parties weigh in. If a debarred party wants a hearing, they have an opportunity to request a hearing, and there's a process for that. And if it goes to a hearing, the hearing is done by a third party.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any other questions on that particular thing, on the debarment policy? Yes, ma'am.
We inadvertently missed two speakers for your committee.
Oh.
They did sign up on their
Okay.
prior time.
All right.
Our apologies.
Okay, good. All right, well, LaRon Marks, are you here? I think LaRon, or I think, unless this is Karen. Karen Marks or LaRon Marks? LaRon Marks, thank you. Okay.
We're together, we represent the same organization.
Very good.
Okay.
And what's your name, sir?
I'm Derek Covington.
Okay.
All right. And one of the concerns in regards to procurement and policy, it's a question. In regards to procurement, if the procurement officer engages the process of a contract, requesting insurance, requesting certain documentation, and giving the yay or nay on it going forward, would that fall under procurement of CHA?
I'm looking around. Oh, you say if what? Say that again? If the
If
procurement officer,
If a procurement officer
on behalf of CHA?
on behalf of CHA is involved in the process of a contract with a dollar amount and its procedure requiring insurance, workman's comp, all of those things, is that a procurement situation for CHA? Would you consider that to be procurement?
What's a procurement situation?
In regards to if the procurement officer is determining what should take place in regards to a contract, if the
That's the
procurement.
procurement officer's responsibility under the job description. So that's the answer to your question.
So you're saying it is a procurement
I just said
situation?
yes.
Okay, yes, sir. That's one of my questions. All right, that's the first
Okay.
one. All right, all right, that's it for now.
Thank you.
Are you gonna let us get all of our three situations at once, because we're all representing the same organization?
You can have 2 minutes, is what you can have. Whatever each person there can have. Fleming, are you Miss Fleming? Yeah. Yes, so you're registered. So you got 2 and 2, 2 minutes and 2 minutes.
All right, so the next thing, as far as procurement goes, in regards to Section 3 and its involvement with some of these projects when they're awarded, because if a general contractor is union and the section, and this is policy and procurement, if the general contractor is getting these big awards and the smaller Section 3 business concerns are getting involved, unless we become signatory to the labor union that the general contractor is a part of, then we're not able to work, which it definitely violates HUD's relationship that we do not have to be union in order to participate in Section 3 opportunities. So it's a catch-22. So this information is being shared with the top, and I don't know how it continues to
So
move
what's your
around.
question?
Well, it's not, sir. My question is, okay, well, yes, it is. Excuse me, sir. My question is, how do we engage the process without joining
Your
the
time
union?
is up.
That's all right.
All right.
How do you engage the process without joining the union?
Yes, how do we engage these bigger projects, such as the library being built in Allgale Gardens, these projects that exceed our capacity as low to medium income businesses? How do we engage it? Because
You need to take a visit down to the Section 3 field office and let them explain to you what that process is all about on CHA.
Okay, Mr. Jones.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, sir, I'm trying to direct the
Quickly.
questions. I know, but you're interjecting, and I respect you a lot. So my point is, I've done all that. I know Claudia Weems, I've been through that. I've read the 1,500-page document that spells out how CHA and HUD should function together. My point is, as a small Section 3 contractor, if I become a part of any project, if I bid the job and the general is signatory, I then have to become signatory. Why is that if I'm a Section 3 resident-owned business? I can't afford to get them 15,000 joint paint, 10,000 joint carpenters. If I get over 5 people in carpenters, it's an additional 10,000. I think we should examine these things. So I want to go on the record with bringing these particular things up.
Then hold on to that question. After this meeting, we'll direct you to the right person. We'll see if we can facilitate the answer to your question.
Mr.
Right now,
Hooker,
we
you
can't.
was trying to pose a question?
Okay?
Okay, so the right person would be someone that understands labor union law and the HUD procurement process.
So, sir, after this meeting, I promise you, Gene Jones or his representative will meet with you, the appropriate representative, to go over
Thank you,
this.
sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have everybody testified then. There was one other thing that came up during the testimony that I would like to ask questions about, and that was the MBE particularly, but MBE, WBE participation in some of these. And I'd like to ask staff, in the bond issuance, can you tell us about MBE, WBE participation? Mike Moran or
That was a consideration, and there is MBWB participation on the legal team and on the underwriters. And you can see in the item that's handed out there, it tells you who the team is, and several of those firms are MBWB firms.
Okay. And on the other one, Mike, I don't know if you're to also answer for the audit. Ernst & Young was the question was, who's the auditor? Ernst & Young is the auditor. They're not an MBWBE, but in any audits of CHA, to the degree we have minority or women audit firms auditing?
Correct. So Washington Pittman does the single audit, and they are a minority firm. And as Brian Offenlock, the partner from EY mentioned, they do engage an MBWB firm that works besides them. So there is a component of their contract that also is MBWB.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions, any other comments from staff on any of the Finance Committee agenda items? Nope. Okay. Hearing none, I would like to present an omnibus motion for approval of items number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, the motion carries and the resolutions for items 1 through 5 are approved. Since there's no further business to discuss, I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
In favor, say aye. Are there any nays? Hearing none, the June 19th Finance and Audit Committee meeting is now adjourned.
All right, we're going to keep going. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the June 19th Real Estate Operations Development Committee. I'm Matt Brewer. I'm the chairman for the committee. I'll start by establishing that we have a quorum. Our board secretary will take the roll call.
Commissioner Harris? Here. Commissioner Markowski?
Here.
Commissioner Washington? Commissioner Brewer?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that present but not counted for the quorum are Commissioners Chico, Matos, and Chairman Hooker. At this time, speakers are reminded to register again at the sign-in desk to address the committee. We'll follow the same procedure as the last committee. The registration continues for the next 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, the secretary will not accept any more cards. As we did with the previous committee, all comments will take place at the end of review of all the items. The first voting matter today is the minutes for the Real Estate Operations Development Committee from May 15th, 2018. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays, recusals, or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries and the minutes from the May 15th meeting are approved as submitted. We have a total of 7 items for consideration today by the Real Estate Development Operations Committee. We will start with item number 6, which will be presented by Derek Messier, our Chief Property Officer. Item number 6 reads as follows: authorization to participate in the City of Chicago agreement with Constellation New Energy Services Electricity Division, LLC, for the supply of electricity. Good morning, Derek.
Good morning, Commissioners. This item requests approval to reference the State of Illinois' contract for the supply of electricity. Constellation New Energy is the only supplier in our area that can meet our volume requirements and our contract requirements. So we are not, we are choosing to reference this contract rather than do a separate solicitation because we could not get another result. And we also gain from the volume that the State of Illinois contract has in their agreement. If the Commissioners have any questions, I'm available to answer them.
Thank you. I'll just start. I know we've done this in the past, and it allows us to lock in lower rates. Do we have a sense of the savings we've realized by taking this approach?
Yes, so we get a larger savings from our natural gas, which we brought before the board a few months ago. Like you said, we purchase future supply at an opportune time, so rather than buying it on the daily market. So this contract would allow us to buy electricity in the spring and the fall at rates that are 10 to 20% lower than if we had to buy it directly from the retail market.
Thank you. Are there any more questions from the Commissioners? Okay, thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
The next two items, item number 7 and item number 8, will be presented by Diana Liu, who's our Chief Construction Officer. Item number 7 reads as follows: recommendation to execute a contract modification in the amount of $169,775 with Coup LLC for professional design services for the conversion and renovation of 1852 South Albany.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here
Good
with
morning.
Matt Mosher, my Deputy Chief of Construction. These next two items before you relate to the conversion and renovation of the former Nathaniel Pope Elementary School, which is located North Lawndale and adjacent to Douglas Park. This item, of the first one, has to do with the contract modification for the design engineering services contract, which was awarded to Coup Architects, an MWDBE firm, back in September 2016. We have enhanced the design to provide for more residential units as well as better community space. This will also include the office space for the HCV at satellite offices, smaller office spaces to use for the incubation of Section 3 businesses, and also, good news, Ravinia will be on hand. We're working on a lease with them to provide community benefits for our Chicago youth. Ravinia currently provides music education for 5,000 K through 3rd grade students in underserved CPS schools. We have also, this agenda item is asking for $169,000 and change contract modification to cover 3 phases of the project. We broke them into 3 phases for acceleration purposes to move this more efficiently to get this done and for the enhancements.
Thank you. I'll start with a question. How much of this additional $169,000 are attributable to the additional 5 units versus other changes?
It's actually,
It's not that much. Most of it covers the CA time for breaking it up into 3 separate phases. So the change of the increase in units, it does some of it, but it's a very small portion of that.
Okay.
and it will they will also be doing contract administration services for all 3 phases, all the way through.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Are we
Markowski?
talking, Mr. Chairman, on both number 7 and number 8?
We'll get to number 8 in a second.
Okay, on number 7, no, I don't have any more questions on 7.
Okay. Any more questions for item number 7? If not, let's move to item number 8, which reads, a recommendation to award a contract for the conversion and renovation of the same address, 1852 South Albany. The recommended awardee here is ALL Masonry Construction Company, Inc., in the not-to-exceed amount of $14,643,292.
Thank you, Commissioner Brewer. This requested award went through our traditional invitation for bid process. We received 3 responsive bids, and we recommend the award of the contract to All Masonry Construction Company, which is an MBE firm, and which was founded back in I believe it was 1959, 1962. They will be doing the 1st and 2nd floors. This is what this is for, to create all the office space, to do the major exterior masonry work, all the MEP life safety systems. Just so you know, this is a former CPS school. It has been vacant for about 9 years already. Any questions, sir?
Thank you. Well, I know Commissioner Markowski has a question.
Yes, my question is, so 14.6 million, I know it was competitively bid, but what are we getting for 14.6 million? Is this building those 19 units?
This is not, Commissioner. This is for the office space, so the 1st and 2nd floor. So this will allow us to relocate the HCV office that's at 2750 West Roosevelt currently and move those approximately 110 staff out of that building into this one, as well as the offices for Section 3 that Diana mentioned.
Is there something wrong with the other office on Roosevelt Road?
We pay rent there, so now we'll be an owner.
Yeah, we pay market rent over there, so we won't be doing that anymore. Also, this is an 80,000 square foot job for the 1st and 2nd floors.
It'll allow us to customize it how we need it and keep it for as long as we need it.
And you obviously think it's worth 14.6 million for this office?
I do.
Okay. Seems very expensive to me.
Well, we did our independent cost estimates for it. This
This-
is the lowest lump sum bid.
This also includes.
I know it's the lowest bid, I just kind of wonder conceptually, I bet you could build an office someplace.
You know, Commissioner, I
less than
should be clear,
14.6 million.
to your question, this does include some of the infrastructure for the housing units as well.
Mhm.
So it's not just the office side of it. It's gonna allow us, since this is the first and second floor, when we do the third floor for the housing side of it, the infrastructure will be there that we can just tap in and go from there.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, is this price inclusive of the renovations for the auditorium and the community space as well?
It's not for the auditorium. That will be a separate IFB that'll come before you guys for approval.
But the basic infrastructure is what we need in any event.
Power, heating, cooling, things like
Roof
that.
repairs, lighting.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Commissioner Harris?
I think I didn't hear you too well, but you were talking about the third floor.
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that it's to remain as a white box. Would you just explain white box?
Just with this project, we'll clear it out, so when the next IFB that comes before you will allow that contractor to get in and just start putting all the pieces together. So it's a white box in the sense that it's just an empty shell for the third floor portion of it.
And at some point, you'll come back before the board with a budget for construction of the rest of the property?
For sure.
And what's your sense of timing on that?
We're hoping to bring it before you guys in September,
Okay.
but we're not quite there yet.
Okay. Are there any more questions from the commissioners?
Why wouldn't we do this all at the same time?
Because of the housing side of it and just figuring out program space, we broke it into three. We wanted to get in to start doing demo as fast as possible. There's a ton of environmental issues as well. Getting in there now and starting that work will allow the contractor for this one to get in and just start doing finish work right away. And it just allows us to compress that schedule. We're up against the lease of the 2750 West Roosevelt space.
Thank you. I got
And
it.
we just want to get that done before the end of the year.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions from commissioners? If not, then thank you, Diana. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
The next four items will be presented by Ann McKenzie, Chief Development Officer. We'll start with item number 9. Item number 9 is a recommendation to approve development teams for mixed income housing and mixed use development delivery through pre-qualified development teams approach. Recommended teams are Three Corners Development, McLaurin Development Partners LLC, MVAH Partners LLC, and the Michaels Development Company DL3 Realty. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning. Morning.
Thank you. We are presenting to you today the pre-qualified development team recommendation. We had, just to remind you, every 6 months we put out a request for proposal or qualifications to development teams. We do this twice a year. They have a 2-year term to come to us with development ideas for our land or for their own land, and then we do a procurement based on that limited pool of teams. This time we had 5 respondents. 4 were above the threshold points, and those are the 4 that you named. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions from the commissioners? And just to confirm, any individual projects that they bring that need to be approved will come before the board?
Yes. This is
Great.
not for any specific projects.
Got it.
And how often, Ann, do you open this up for any developer to submit their qualifications?
We've determined that we will do it twice a year.
Thank you. If there are no questions from the commissioners, we'll move on to item number 10, which is a recommendation to fund an amount not to exceed $7 million to the Chicago Park District to construct a new recreational center at East 15th and Loomis.
Thank you. This item is for the site known as Adams Park. The City of Chicago and Chicago Park District announced this indoor recreational center. It will include an indoor track, indoor fields, some outdoor fields, some indoor classroom space. The total budget is approximately $25 million. $10 million of that is a combination of the City of Chicago and Chicago Park District. They've asked us for $7 million. They are also getting money from Exelon and a private donation. We are working on a commensurate agreement for benefits to our residents. We did a survey of the residents in the community. Within 3 miles of this, we have 12% of our youth and 12% of our families, although we do think that this will benefit more than just 3 miles because this will be an indoor track, state of the art, like many of the suburbs have, but this will be the first one for the city of Chicago. Do you have any questions?
Did you
I-
say
go ahead.
12% of what? What was that?
Of our families and our youth live within 3 miles.
Of all CHA, families and youth?
Yes.
Can you, I'm just wondering, I see the financing to date, and the CHA is the largest funder.
Yes.
And I know this is a park district, it's a park.
Yes.
So what's the rationale for us taking the lead in financing a park where the park district could pay more? Or the other, others could put more in?
The Park District has asked us to be a gap filler like this, and I'm sorry, I was remiss in not mentioning, of course, this is at the southern end of our ABLA land, so clearly this is going to benefit more than just 12% of our families when we've finished the ABLA replacement. The Park District, this was the gap that they recognized.
And I think for that reason, it's important that we push hard for the benefits to make sure that our communities, our families, our children have access and opportunities there.
Absolutely. So we have been talking quite aggressively on this. We are not ignoring the other parks. So Mary Howard and I have met about this, as well as our staff members. So we are already talking about the counselor and training programs, opportunities for our children and our adults to be counselors, full-time employment with the Park District. We are not limiting ourselves just to community benefits at the recreation center.
Good, okay.
Can I
Any
say
oth-
something?
Yep.
I just want to point out that the LAC at ABLA is against a portion of this facility because they feel that, one, they haven't been included in the decision, but also they want to look at how can we change some of the facilities inside. We're looking at that also, so it's not all set in stone, but we're putting out the money, and I think the funding is, but I think, Commissioner, what you're saying, we gotta make sure that we have a strong community benefits package, because we had issue with Fosco Park, with Parks and Rec and so forth, and we wanna go through the same thing, because we wanna make sure that we can provide and promise to our residents that this is gonna be a facility that they can go into anytime, any place, anywhere, and so forth, and not be charged.
Yep. Good, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions from commissioners?
What guarantee that we have after we put out the money that we're losing our leverage after that point? I mean, how far are we along the negotiation process for some of these benefits and some of these other preferential treatments that I hope we'll get for our kids at ABLA?
And good point, Commissioner, we are working on that community benefits package, that we will make sure that we have all those particulars in place before we sign on the dotted line.
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
But we will discuss that with the LAC president also, because they're a big part of this.
Very good.
Thank you. If there are no other questions or comments from commissioners, we'll move to the next item, which is number 11. Item number 11 is a recommendation to form Patrick Sullivan Housing LLC with related documents needed for the formation of the entity, to close the transaction for the refinancing of Patrick Sullivan Apartments and the reimbursements to the CHA and related entities of costs related thereto, and to secure permanent financing in an amount not to exceed $32 million.
So that was a mouthful.
Yes.
And the last time we brought to you Patrick Sullivan was when I was in my former role. It's a RAD transaction also. So Patrick Sullivan will be transitioning to RAD project-based vouchers. Both Joel Walton's team and I have met with residents. We will continue to do that because residents, of course, are very central to this. To make clear, forming this entity, this limited liability company, it will be 100% owned by the Chicago Housing Authority. The sole member of that LLC will be the Chicago Housing Authority. So we are not giving up any control over Patrick Sullivan. This is simply a way to fund improvements at Patrick Sullivan. Assessments have been made to the structure itself. We're finishing that. It is next in line for the elevator assessments. So that work will be funded out of this up to $32 million, as well as capital improvements at other senior buildings. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
And no additional CHA funding at this time.
No additional CHA funding.
Thank you. If there are no more questions from commissioners, we'll move on to the last item of this committee, which is item number 12. That's a recommendation to submit a disposition application to HUD for the disposition of CHA land and to execute a ground lease with SOS Children's Villages for 1301 South Racine.
Thank you. This is also land where Adams Park is adjacent to the ABLA land and it belongs to the Park District. This is actually CHA land. SOS Children's Villages constructed a children's village for foster care on ABLA land after we disposed of it to them approximately 4 years ago. Now they are asking for additional land on which they would build at their cost some community space and administrative space, both for their own administrative and community for their foster parents, but also, again, community benefits to our residents. The value of the land is a little bit over $2 million. It is, though a triangular site is a little bit tough to develop, but it is valuable land. Therefore, we again are looking for community benefits that would include employment, as well as they've talked to the residents about a culinary arts program and some other job training, and then some youth trauma work. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, I think that concludes the briefing part of the meeting, and we move on to public participation. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Registration is closed. I have 2 comment cards for public participation. The first one is George Blakemore. And then next it'll be Brenda Perry.
As a concerned citizen, I addressed questions before with this saga, MBEs and WBEs. I'm specifically focused on black people receiving goods, services, contracts, and jobs, CHA. If I ask you about this real estate and all these transactions that's going on with money and CHA property, going into agreement, building with other entities, private. These black children, they can't use it anytime they want. They have to pay. They cannot use it whenever another, the same thing with Jesse White down here on Chicago Avenue. When you go in with these private companies, these private entities, the black children, let me get myself together now, they are the losers. When you make your presentation of this money, MBEs, WBEs, specifically break it down, because it can be a white woman, an Asian, a Hispanic company, and blacks will not receive anything, and it will be lawful, which is illegal. Specifically in your literature, break down how much the black receive, how much the white women receive.
You have 30
how
seconds.
much the Hispanic receive, how much the Asian receive. This is about money. And black people are not getting this money. And you're playing games. I don't want to hear anything about MBEs or WBEs. Specifically, black people, poor black people here. These white people are playing games on black people. And then you're going to come at the end and you're going to vote on it.
Your time is
So
up.
my time is up. What are you going to do? Drag me out, handcuff me if I go over 2 minutes, exceed my time? Now you better get yourself and check yourself. Like these hip-hoppers say before you wreck yourself. So I went over 2 minutes. What you gonna do, drag me out? Thank you. I don't play games when it comes to black people.
Our next speaker is Brenda Perry.
That's my out. Home, 1, poor is 2, black is 3. That's me strike out, but I'm striking in.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morning. I'm here to talk about item number 6, and that is the electrical contract with the state. And I raise that because it says here in the background, was competitively bid. I question any bid that CHA gets because you have not been transparent. You have not been transparent. You use a lot of legalese to make sure that the regular citizens don't understand what you're doing, but I understand what you're doing. And it's an undercover deal. And I do not appreciate tax money being spent like that. In addition to that non-transparency, we come up with all kinds of contracts here, contracts there, and I see nothing but conflicts of interest with commissioners and these outside entities. That is a problem. You can't tell me that it's an honest bid when I see conflicts of interest with board members. Just like with the elevators. You gonna give somebody $3 million to tell you the elevators are bad? We know the elevators are bad. They're falling apart every day. Why do you have to pay somebody $3.8 million to tell you that?
You have 30 seconds.
So consequently, my next item, I'll be called again for number 10. And I'll wait for that.
You're supposed to address it now.
Right now?
Yep.
Do I have another 2 minutes for the
2
number
minutes for
10?
all your comments, total.
Number 10, the city of Chicago doesn't need CHA money. We need our projects finished and completed
Your
rather
time is
than,
up.
I will stop, rather than have us live as seniors in atrocious conditions due to construction, because I've been under construction 6 years and nothing has happened. We don't even have a sprinkler system. My safety's been in risk for 6 years, and it's still not finished. I'm tired of it, and you can spend money for the Park District, which has its own budget, just like you gave the library $2 million, and it has its own budget. You don't need to offset the city of Chicago. Fix what we got here. Give us what we're supposed to get. Then you talk about the excess money. But if my building has been under construction 6 years and it's not finished, I don't see how you giving Park District $7 million when our kids probably won't be able to even use the facility. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Since that was the last registered speaker, on behalf of the Real Estate Operations Development Committee, we thank you for all your comments. Responses will be posted on the website as usual. Commissioners, you've heard comments from the public on today's agenda items. Are there any further comments or questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, I would like to present an omnibus motion for approval of items 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 on today's Real Estate Operations Development Committee agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye. I'd like to be recorded as no on number 8. Otherwise, aye.
Are there any nays, recusals, or abstentions other than what we just heard? Hearing none, the motion carries, and the resolutions for items 6 through 12 are hereby approved. Since there's no further business to discuss, I would like to present a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Hearing none, the June 19th Real Estate Operations Development Committee is hereby adjourned. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is John Hooker. I'm chairman of CHA Board of Commissioners. At this time, I would like to call the June 19, 2018 board meeting to order. The board secretary will take the roll.
Commissioner Brewer?
Here.
Commissioner Chico?
Here.
Commissioner Harris? Here. Commissioner Hart? Commissioner Markowski?
Here.
Commissioner Matos? Here. Commissioner Washington? Commissioner Hooker?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Lee. And as a reminder, please register at the sign-in desk if you need to address the board during the public participation period. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to address the board. Registration will continue for the next 5 minutes. After 5 minutes have expired, the secretary will not accept any more cards. As set forth in our public participation rules, courtesy, respectful, and civil behavior is expected from all speakers and all persons attending to the board committee meetings. Individuals who are disruptive will be given a warning and will, if necessary, be removed from the meeting. The Real Estate Operation Development Committee, hold on, no, I'm sorry about that. If any individual is removed from the meeting as a result of disruptive behavior, the individual will be forfeited from his or her rights to re-enter future board and committee meetings. And lastly, please turn off your cell phones or silence them while the meeting is in session. At this time, we will have centering thoughts, which will now be presented by Commissioner Mildred Harris.
Thank you and good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay. Well, I'd just like to say that here at the notable Chicago Housing Authority, you will find that for many of us, our focus is to work well with others. We aim to be one mind, united in thought and purpose. And if I must say, you will find that success in any organization calls for the death of individual ego and self-interest. So when a mistake is made, we refuse to place blame on others by arguing back and forth, but we move on to a higher level of thought as we are reminded to be forgiving and not allow any offense to develop into bitterness. But this causes us to be more productive and enables us to work in a healthy environment. Here at CHA, we oftentimes offer praise for others, team members, and their strengths, and because of our good relationships with one another. But we can also be transparent with each other, as we sometimes offer help if we see a weakness in another. So as we work together in unity and harmony, you will discover that there is no stopping us here at CHA, because we are family. Remember that song? So you see, this is our vision, and it's posted on our website. CHA will foster an innovative, diverse, dynamic, and productive team that works in a healthy, collaborative, and respectful environment towards a shared vision of excellence. We at CHA shall continue to fulfill this vision, and I thank you because I know that you agree with the vision that we have crafted for our people. Thank you.
And thank you, Commissioner Harris. Moving on to the committee reports and voting of resolutions. First committee report will be presented by Commissioner Markowski, Chairman of the Finance and Audit Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Audit Committee held its regular meeting at 8:30 a.m. today at the CHA corporate offices. I chaired the meeting, and the following committee members were present as well: Commissioners Brewer, Hart, and Matos. Present also, but not counted for the quorum, were Chairman Hooker and Vice Chairman Chico. The Finance and Audit Committee members then voted to adjourn to closed session to discuss audit reviews and investigatory matters. The Finance and Audit Committee members then returned to open session and discussed, voted, and recommended for approval the following items. Item number 1, recommendation to accept and submit to HUD the CHA single audit report, financial statement audit, and comprehensive annual financial report for the year ended December 31, 2017. Item number 2, authorization to issue CHA general obligation bonds, Series 2018. Item number 3, recommendation to adopt the revised CHA debarment policy and procedures. Item number 4, recommendation to adopt Social Security number protection policy. Item number 5, recommendation to extend the contract with Pugh, Jones & Johnson, P.C. for ethics officer and EEO officer services. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the Finance and Audit Committee, I would like to present an omnibus motion for approval of items number 1 through 5.
Thank you, Commissioner Makowski. We have an omnibus motion on the floor presented by Commissioner Makowski for approval of items 1 through 5. Is there a second, please?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, item 1 through 5 are hereby approved. The Real Estate and Operations Development Committee will now be presented by Commissioner Matt Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Real Estate Operations Development Committee held its regular meeting earlier today. I chaired the meeting, and the following committee members were present as well, Commissioners Harris and Markowski. Although Chairman Hooker and Commissioners Chico and Matos were also present, they were not counted towards the quorum. Committee members then discussed, voted, and recommend for approval the following items, and there's 7 of them. Starting with item number 6, authorization to participate in the City of Chicago agreement with Constellation New Energy Services, Electricity Division, LLC, for the supply of electricity. Item number 7 is the recommendation to execute a contract modification in the amount of $169,775 with Cool LLC for professional design services for the conversion and renovation of 1852 South Albany. Item number 8 is a recommendation to award a contract for the conversion and renovation of 1852 South Albany. The recommended awardee is ALL Masonry Construction Company, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $14,643,292. Item number 9 is a recommendation to approve development teams for mixed income housing and mixed-use development delivery through the pre-qualified development team approach. The recommended teams are Three Corners Development, McLaurin Development Partners, LLC, MVAH Partners, LLC, and the Michaels Development Company, DL3 Realty. Item number 10 is a recommendation to fund an amount not to exceed $7 million to the Chicago Park District to construct a new recreational center at East 15th and Loomis. Item number 11 is a recommendation to form Patrick Sullivan Housing LLC with related documents needed for the formation of the entity, and to close the transaction for the refinancing of Patrick Sullivan Apartments and for the reimbursements to the CHA and related entities of costs related thereto, and to secure permanent financing in an amount not to exceed $32 million. Finally, item number 12 is a recommendation to submit a disposition application to HUD for the disposition of CHA land and execute a ground lease with SOS Children's Villages for 1301 South Racine Avenue. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the Real Estate Operations Development Committee, I would like to present an omnibus motion for approval of items 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Thank you, Commissioner Brewer. We have an omnibus motion presented by Commissioner Brewer for approval of items 6 through 12. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Madam Secretary, let the record show that I will abstain from voting on item number 6 and number 10.
So noted, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Are there any opposed votes or recusal or abstentions?
Didn't Commissioner Markowski?
I voted on committee, but I'll support this one.
Okay. Hearing none, item number 7, 8, 9, 11, and 12 are approved by unanimous vote. Yes, okay. Yeah, with me abstaining. Vote, and items 6 and 10 are approved by the majority vote. Thank you for your report, Commissioner Brewer. At this point, we will go into a few announcements before we move into public participation section for the board meeting. I got it. Okay. All right, after I read it? Yes. All right. So, at this time, it is with heavy heart that we bid farewell to Commissioner Jack Makowski. Commissioner Makowski has submitted his resignation to the mayor and to the board, and I must say, we are reluctantly accepting this resignation. Jack has been a formidable force on the board. In honor of Commissioner Makowski's 4.5 years of service, we have a plaque and a resolution that we would like to present to him. So Commissioner Makowski, your plaque reads as follows. CHA, present to John Makowski for his dedication to public service and commitment to transforming the city of Chicago and the lives of CHA residents as commissioner from January 17 to 2013. January 17, 2013 to June 19, 2018. Chicago Housing Authority, June 19, 2018. Jack? Okay. So, the outstanding service presented to Jack Makowski, his dedication. At this point, we also have a resolution, Jack, that we would like to present to you and recognize you for. And Commissioner Harris will present that to you.
And I'm going to stand because, Jack, you are truly a great man, and you brought so much to our board and to the Chicago Housing Authority. We really appreciate you, and we certainly will miss you, and that comes from our heart. It says, whereas the Chicago Housing Authority offers its sincere gratitude to Jack Makowski, who was appointed as CHA Commissioner by Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel on January 17, 2013. Whereas Commissioner Makowski is president of Community Investment Corporation, overseeing the leading source of loans for the rehabilitation and multifamily residential buildings in Chicago.
Yes.
Whereas Commissioner of the Chicago Department of Housing, Commissioner Makowski, spent more than $3 billion to assist more than 100,000 housing units in Chicago, including more than 5,200 SRO units and 5,700 units for senior housing and 2,000 new single-family homes. My. Whereas Chairman of the Finance and Auditing Committee and the Real Estate Committee at CHA, Commissioner Makowski's expertise on complex transactions assisted with the financing of the agency's mixed income deals. Whereas Commissioner Makowski was known for his command of affordable housing matters and a champion of preserving and building affordable housing in Chicago. Be it resolved that the Chicago Housing Authority recognizes the tenure of Commissioner Makowski, whose dedication and expertise will be missed. Signed by Chairman John H. Hooker and dated June 19th, 2018. And may I at this time present our resolution to you with the spirit of love. And I'd like for the commissioners and all the board, will you please stand as this is being presented to him? And if you'd like to stand also, I think he has done an awesome job. We need to stand and applaud him for all that he has done for the Chicago Housing Authority. If I had known this, I would have bought you your balloons, your cars, and your whistles and your bells. But anyway, don't forget us over here. We will miss you. Speech.
Oh, I'm last. All right.
Not yet, Jack. Thank you, Commissioner Harris.
Thank you.
All right. So at this time, I would like to give the board members an opportunity to say a few words, a few parting words to Jack as he leaves CHA.
Sure, I'll start.
Okay, thank you.
I've been on the board here with Jack about 5 years and gotten to know him very well. And I remember when I first came, it became really obvious that he was the expert in the room on everything complicated. And not afraid to speak up, not afraid to challenge and push back, even at times where it might have been inconvenient or, always stuck to his ground, man of principle. And I've learned a ton from you and just appreciate the mentorship, the leadership, the courage, and just the class that you've held in this position. You'll be definitely missed. And I'm at least glad you were able to run your final committee meeting.
A lot of fun today.
I'm sure it'll always stick with you. So thank you for everything, for your service, for your friendship. You'll be missed.
Jack, I've been on the board for almost 3 years now, and I will seriously miss you. Your depth of knowledge as it relates to housing issues and matters all across the city, your expert knowledge in that will be greatly missed, and I will miss our conversations, our closed session, serious conversations, even when you were wrong, which was very rare. I'm not sure if you were. I had great respect for your position and for your integrity, and you can't ask for more than that of a board member. And I'm sorry to see you go, and I hope we get to work with you a lot more in the future.
Well, Jack, I've said my piece, but one of the things I would like to share with you and the audience, you hear so much when folks come up to talk about transparency, and you have exuded transparency all along in this organization. We continue to try and make sure that that's done throughout, and when I hear it sometimes, but they never tell me what they're talking about when they talk about transparency. You always did. So, to that end, Jack, if as you leave and you leave us with so many good things, that one will always hang close to me. Thank you.
Well, Jack, I've been with CHA as a commissioner for 2 years, and your leadership is outstanding. The love and commitment that you show for all our residents and every little detail that you do. Unfortunately, you had to go out with a bang today, remembering today. And we surely miss you and love you. And you better keep in contact with us.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Markowski, you will definitely be missed. Thank you for all that you've shared with me and taught me. The one thing that I can tell you is that I will forever remember the CHA cost per unit.
Good. I hope so. All right. All right. Well,
now, Jack,
you
it's your
wanna say
turn.
something? James wants to say something.
I'll be very brief, Jack. I've had an opportunity to work with you these past few years. It's been wonderful. I've had an opportunity to work with board members in other areas across the city and in the private sector, and I will say that you are a model board member. You are a professional, consummate professional, and most of all, you are a gentleman. Thank you.
Now, Jack, it's your turn.
All right, you honor me. Thank you very much. I am honored, humbled. It's been a pleasure, and I truly respect my fellow board members. Your dedication is extraordinary, and I know we all try to do the best we can every day, every time we come to these meetings, and also with the staff, led by Jean, has done a remarkable job, and let me particularly salute then Jean and Chairman Hooker as the co-heads of the organization, moving it in a very strong, productive direction, and it's been a pleasure of mine to work with them, and of course with Jose and James also, and the other staff. Lee, the secretary to the board, who's just a wonderful, wonderful staff person to work with, and all the staff. I appreciate working with you as well. So I'm not going far. I'm still here in Chicago, and I can guarantee you I will still be participating in affordable housing and community development, and so I do intend to see you again all in the future. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Murkowski, and good luck to you in all your future endeavors. Well, now, as a reminder, in response to the May 15th board meeting, comments are available at the sign-in desk. At our next committee meeting and board meeting scheduled for July 17th at 8:30 at the Chicago Housing Authority offices, which is right here at 60 East Van Buren, 12th floor, the loft area. We will now start public participation. Registration is closed. As a reminder, speakers will be given 2 minutes to address the board. As mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, personal attacks and abusive language levied at commissioners, staff, and other individuals will not be tolerated. In response to comments during public participation will be the responses to the comments presented during public participation will be distributed at the next board meeting. Lois will let you know when 30 seconds remaining and when your time is up. If you have any written material for the board, please give the materials to the board secretary. Our registered speakers are all right. We have several.
Many.
Many. Okay. So, I'll tell you what we can do to make this thing go pretty well and orderly. I'd like to, well, I'll try it. I had an idea, but I'll just let it go. Hopefully folks that are signed up know that they signed up and are here. And as I call your name, please step right up. And hopefully if you're here, I want you to come right on up. And there are times that we have to do this. And hello? No, maybe it's not off. I didn't speak into it. All right. I'll move it closer. Thank you. So, John Quirk, are you here? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, it's gone. Paul McKinley. Paul is next, and Dallas Pickett will be coming after Paul. Is Dallas here? Paul, will you begin?
Yeah.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to say that CHA is not all what it should be, but it ain't what it used to be. We've been fighting against CHA for almost 20 years. But CHA did come around and start putting African Americans to work in our community. We had to protest the sites and all that. So there's an echo of the past, of going back to the bad old days, where that certain groups were feasting off the poverty and our young men not working. Those days are not going to repeat. And I was just observing what was going on today. And that's what that's a lot about bringing the bad old Coalition for the Homeless back and get in front of black folks, a Jewish organization. There are no Jewish ghettos, and we don't need no Jewish leaders. We're black folks. We're grown men and women. And I think that we've done very good with CHA, putting our people to work. And we're not getting up underneath any foreign liberal idea. Now, there's some stuff that we may argue with CHA about. CHA may not agree with us. And we may not agree with CHA, but it's one thing we're not going to go along with, and that's going back and
You
getting
have
up
30
underneath them other
seconds.
people. I also, before I leave, I still want to take a shot at Brenshaw Michaels. I still have 21 seconds. I disagree with Brenshaw Michaels, and they have not came to the table, correct? And I ask that someone bring them to the table because Ashley is not the only Section 3. With that, I have nothing else to say. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McKinley. Dallas Pickett. Dallas Pickett. Going once, twice, gone. Calvin Jackson. And the next speaker after that is Betty Bowles.
Good day again. I want to first talk about the, you guys just passed the disbarment policies, and I wonder how that would affect the people within my community, especially if I'm hiring somebody and they got arrested or something overnight like that. Then I turn around and tell them they're fired because they got arrested, because they have a record now. You just passed that. And particularly when that pertains to black men, what's going on here?
So, Calvin, just hold on to that thought, okay? We'll have probably a workshop down in the Section 3 field office and explain that to our Section 3 businesses, what that all means, all entails. It's not as deep as you think it is, but we're really trying to address not our Section 3 contractors, but our other big contractors who have been disbarred and so forth, and we're trying to protect the interests of CHA.
Okay, along with that, let's talk about maybe some of these criminal organizations that are out there that have contracts with CHA that I believe are criminal organizations and racist organizations like Chicago Cook County Building Construction Trades Council. I want to know how much is the PLA, how the Cook County Building Construction Trades Council is benefiting off of these Section 3 monies by they have to have some of the contractors have to have contracts with the unions, and they get monies through their dues and stuff. All right, like also to know what Section 3 businesses are benefiting from the CHA's PLA agreement with the Cook County Building Construction Trade Councils. Is it really working? Is it really working? Okay, and then will the CHA assist us?
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, assist us in setting up a meeting with the Cook County Building Trades Council. We have an organization, Section 3 business organization that we can sit down and talk with them and help them do better because they're doing nothing. Okay, we want to ask Washington, D.C., is that the camera there, to help us to assist Section 3 businesses by enforcing HUD Section 3 regulations here in Chicago, not jumping on CHA all the time. It's not about CHA. It's about all of them
Your
creams
time is
downtown
up.
Chicago. 2 more questions, please. And can you, for CHA, can you assist us in getting a list of construction projects, public and private, in Cook County that are getting HUD monies? Because that's who I'm protest against, And also, we want to talk about the grant monies after Dr. Carson left here, getting the money from the city. Is there going to be some grant monies for non-resident Section 3 businesses? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Calvin.
Thank you. Ms. Bowles?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here once again to...
The next is Jackie Page. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm here once again to speak to speak regarding the employees at CBR.
Okay.
And so as an update, the parties had a meeting this week, and we're looking forward to the meeting that's going to address those issues that we raised, and hopefully you can be at that meeting, Jean. So, but in addition to that, what I brought with me, and at the end of my testimony, I want to give you some pictures of some of the families of people that are going to be impacted by the awarding of this contract to Nan McKay. While sitting here earlier and listening to the Real Estate Committee report, I learned that HCV offices are now going to be relocated from 2750 West Roosevelt to this new building that's being rehabilitated. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'll be requesting some information as it relates to that. And again, we look forward to a meeting to bring resolution to the concerns that we addressed at that meeting regarding their employment, not just an interview, not just them receiving an interview, but being hired. We tried to get information, and you're going to provide us with that information at
You have
our
30
following
seconds.
meeting. And so thank you again for working with us. We had to bring all parties to the table, the CHA, the City of Chicago, and SEIU. So what I'm going to distribute to you really quickly are pictures, some pictures of some of the family members of people that are going to be affected, and ask you to keep in mind that these are not just numbers, but these are families that are being impacted by that decision. Thank you for hearing.
Leave it, you
So,
got it.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bowles.
Thank you.
Ms. Jackie Page?
Good morning, Board. Jack, I would like to say you will be missed on that board because there's very few people sitting up there who understand housing development the way that you do, and I appreciate how when a lot of us have questions and a lot of the board members sometimes don't understand what we're saying, you're able to decipher and re-feed back to the board what we're trying to say with your breadth of knowledge, and I want like you to know that I personally appreciate that, and I think that your input is going to be missed on that board. Now, as far as the housing advocacy part go, I think that today what you witnessed with the seniors is an attempt to be heard. This board enacted some policy changes that, in my opinion, is an attempt to silence the public. And when you silence the public, then the public will find a way to be heard. That advocacy that you saw going on is an attempt. When you try to silence the public, they will find another way to make their voices heard. And when you do something like that, when you silence the people, then you're going to get advocacy, such as what you witnessed today. So you need to find another way. We have been saying to you that it's unfair
You have
that
30
we
seconds.
have to speak only on one issue per committee if we in fact have questions on more than one. When you try to silence us, then you get movements such as what you saw today. For the advocacy board, for the voucher holders, again, any board that is appointed is not a board that speaks for its community. We want a board that we choose. And this
Your
board
time is
that
up.
is chosen for us, they have not met with the voucher holder community. So how can they speak for us?
Well, the next speaker is, well, first of all, I feel that I want to respond a little bit there, but not much. But maybe I'll just hold in. Mr. George Blakemore is the next speaker, and Ms. Tamika Holtz follows Mr. Blakemore.
To the staff here and to the concerned citizen and members of this board, it's all about the money. Transparent means put it in writing what your black people are receiving this money. How much money with each one of these contracts did people in the black community receive? How much money? You know, the golden rule is he who has the gold rule. And we are still on the plantation when you don't have any money. You don't have any jobs, goods, contracts, and service. When they bring our illegal people in, the big saga in America, you turn on the news and look at television, radio, talking about illegal immigrants. All over in Europe, Italy, Germany, all over the world. They don't want them. Those that are citizens don't want the non-citizen, and the law is on the citizen side. Legal means within the law. Illegal is unlawful. In a few minutes, if I keep talking, this lady will say your time, and then they're trying to get somebody to remove me because I will be breaking their law. I will be breaking the laws of public speaking.
You have 30
How
seconds.
can you do this with black people? How can you do it? Because we're still on the plantation. It's a new modern plantation. Oh, yes. Oh, you think you free. Look at these unions. They're the one getting this money. They're in control. Telling me, oh, no, you not. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are.
You are out
on
of
the
time.
plantation.
Thank you.
Anyone, if you don't.
Thank you. Mr. Tamika Holt.
Oh, yes, you are.
The next speaker is Gail Anderson, after Ms. Holt.
Good afternoon again.
Thank you.
I'm a voucher holder. I do more advocating for voucher holders outside, in front of you guys, in meetings with you guys. And you never asked me once why have I not grouped up with any of these groups. I'm finna tell you why. I see them give them scripted messages as if we don't have mouths of our own. I see everybody want to take a hold of our situation and make money off of it. I see them wanting to push social programming, but I don't see you trying to push no programs that's going to help us move onward and upward. So that's why I have a problem with all these groups. I see directors don't have no other jobs. This is a sole income. If our problems are getting solved, where's your work? So you get where I'm going with that? So if this is your sole job and this is your only point of income, then that means our problems will never get solved. This is the way I think. And I'll say that to say this, and I've said it to you all many times. A lot of this is what you see is because you help facilitate pushing these people on us. You know our leadership is ineffective or not as effective as they need to be, but sometimes it fit the narrative. If it's our problem, I'll call it a spade. When it's on you, I'll call it a spade. And nobody can ever say anything different, and nobody can ever say I got up here and lied on anybody at any given time. This is how we stay in turmoil. This is how our problems don't get solved, because we have all of these people being pushed up on our residents, our peers that don't know nowhere else to go, was given nowhere else to go, because it seems like CHA have a problem with strong leadership, business-minded leadership, but strong leadership that know how to compromise, especially when we know we can't go along to get along when it's wrong. And just stop that, because if you just tried, it'll be okay. I promise you, it'll be okay. I want to talk about the PLA and work waivers, those wage waivers. See, just like your response to me about the wage waivers, be a little bit more like, try to help us work through this instead of just giving us what HUD said you can and can't do. Let's talk about going to HUD and you guys getting a waiver to do it, to give us wage waivers. It's been done before. We want to hire our people, but you make it hard.
Thank you, Ms. Holt. Ms. Anderson, Gail Anderson. All right. Ms. Brenda Perry.
I only have 2 minutes, so I'm talk very fast. When I say talk fast, I'm saying it because that's the way you limit me. Anyway, number one, the Better Government Association did an excellent report about your elevators across the board. Only 9 passed, 9 out of 150 something? No, that's unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to you. You don't need to pay somebody $3 million point something dollars to tell you the elevators are bad. We know that. We can tell you which ones are bad, and you don't have to pay us nothing. Just fix them. The other thing is you're messing over the Section 3 people, but the minority contractors that I see in my building every day, working hard, and you're screwing them out of their money, and you're doing other kinds of things. You're paying the unions $1 million some dollars that you give away for an apprenticeship that don't mean nothing. And they don't even follow through with it. You need an audit of that whole program so that these minority vendors can get their fair share. I want the sprinkler system in my building. 6 years, and the law said you waited till the week before the law went into effect about the elevators before you even started the project. Now it's been 6 years. I expect to be safe in my apartment with a sprinkler system that works. That hasn't happened.
You have 30 seconds.
You said we were supposed to get a manager. Some guy here, right here, tells me, oh, they had him 2 weeks ago. How come the manager of the building don't know that they hired a site manager? Somebody don't know something.
That's right.
And I am tired of it. I have a quality of life that I deserve at 71 years of age. All I asked for was clean and safe. I didn't ask for other amenities. Clean and safe.
Your
I
time
ain't even
is
got
up.
that. Please, I beg, do it.
Thank you. Omar Sharif is our next speaker, and after that, Derek Covington.
Good morning, board.
Morning,
My concern today is regarding CHA Section 3, as well as dealing with the developers, dealing with the bargaining agreement. We had the pleasure to work at the Latrim Homes, all right? Because of that bargaining agreement, my friend, is that we hired 19 men and women making $66, $70 an hour, right? Now, remind you, we're only African Americans out there, 19 of us. 2 of the men, one came from Stateville, making $66, $70, the other one from Pontiac. Now, it's lunchtime. We went through the orientation, Gene. It's lunchtime is normally at 11 o'clock, right? But once they saw 19 strong men doing the job that they've been doing, guess what they did? They changed the lunch period. So now it's only black men in the lunchroom at 11 o'clock. And they said they're going to take their lunch at 12. That's right. And so that's a problem. It's a problem because you guys helped create it, and we need to solve that because that's insensitivity on their work site. The other issue is that we reached out to Brenshaw and Michael dealing with 45th Street and Cottage, the concern. We had Push write a letter. They haven't responded to the GC or the developer. I talked to Congressman Rush Saturday at a leadership conference. He said he's going to write a letter. We're going to write a letter because these people do not want to hire the people that you guys are trying to help. We're trying to put black men to work. You guys like the headline seeing one dead, one snatched some from this problem on Magnificent Mile. We're trying to actually put these men to work, and we're doing it, but we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Derek Covington. And after Mr. Covington is LaRon Marks. You together?
Excuse me. What I would like to do, I would like to present you all something. We didn't know we had to give it to the secretary, so we have a document. We have documents that we would just like to give you real briefly, so you'll have it to the legal department, to the chief of staff, and to the chairman of the board. Okay.
We distribute it to the commissioners.
Okay, can you just make sure, yeah, it's very important that they get documented information to those 2 gentlemen and to the CHA director. Okay, one of the documents that I've submitted is an occupational skills grant that we made application for in Allgale Gardens, where we were the only applicant to the RFP. Once the award was presented, it was taken back from us because they said it was only because there was only one organization that bid it, and they removed it and took it back and was going to put it back for RFP. This was for your occupational skills grant, and that's in that document. What I want to understand is if the recommendation for the request for proposal is that we make it and present the documents, it's not on us that if no one else made the RFP request, and we did that. So it should not have been pulled back in April, May of last year. But furthermore, it has not hit the streets again, and we're talking about giving men and women skilled training so they can participate in the so-called union activity that's now governing all the public dollars, right? So that's number 1, right? Number 2, we were awarded a solar training project, which was giving us the rights to create a curriculum for solar training out in Allgale. Mr. Eugene Jones approved this back. You have 30
seconds.
Mr. Eugene Jones approved this back in August of 2000. He approved it sooner than that. But August 2017, we met with him, his chief of staff, Dee Brookins, some others, and he, in front of them, told them to release that money to us so we can get started on the pilot solar project that's due to start in Allgale. It is yet to get to us. We have since then subsequently have fell out amongst ourselves because when you don't have economics, you're going to create tension
Your
amongst
time
each
is
other.
up.
So therefore, what I would like to do is give my other two colleagues 4 minutes that I have. So with that being said, I want to investigate that. I want to find out why isn't those funds, why did it take so long for them to be released? The procurement process that it has taken for us to get these funds even awarded, it's ridiculous. So those are these are very important items. One, it was an award, 1.6 million that was pulled back. We won it, we made the appeal, we won that bid as the owner participants. Number two, the solar training project that Mr. Jones approved back in August of 2017 is yet to be in our laps in funding. And subsequently, PCR and myself have had some differences, but it's only because of the poverty that they are going through and we are going through creates problems. Last but not least, we were awarded block 11, 12, and 13 bricks for the demolition of block 11, 12, and 13. Old Veterans had the contract. They did not realize we were awarded it per Eugene Jones. He gave PCR the contract to remove these bricks. They were our bricks to do what we want to do. When they found out we had the bricks, first of all, the procurement department, Ms. Dee Brookins, made me jump through a whole bunch of hoops for procuring a contract that I was stated that it wasn't a contract. It was just him giving us the brick. When I brought this up, why are we going through legal procurement issues? And I brought it to Ms. Brookins and this gentleman here. I said, if it's not procurement, then why are we providing all of these different documentation if it's not procurement? Well, you validated in your previous meeting that it is procurement, so I want to get that clear. Last but not least, they was tearing up our brick after spending all this money for insurance and workman's comp, all this stuff. I brought it to Mr. Alvarez's attention. I brought it to Ms. Brookins' attention that Old Veterans Sub is destroying our brick. They're stacking our brick on top of each other once they realized we had it. They were going to the same company I was using to sell the brick, unbeknownst to them. They was getting ready to sell the brick to the company I had an agreement with. But when they found out we had it, then they decided they're going to damage all the brick. After spending $3,800, they kicked me off the site. Mr. Alvarez, Ms. Dee Brookins, for what they kick us off the site for one of our people not having goggles. And I'm telling these people they're destroying all our brick. We got people out there, I'm feeding 12, 13 men and women, African-American men, live in the community, and they kick me off the site. I then try to get a meeting with them. They say Cheryl Johnson did it. She didn't do it. She told them she did not do that. And I have a document with Ms. Johnson's signature and mine that I gave to them saying you guys have no authority to do what you're doing because I have an agreement. They did it anyway. They're going to charge me. So I close on this point. I would like for something to take place about the RFP that we were awarded. It has not went back out. I would like the brick that we lost, $50,000 at minimum for those 3 buildings that was those 3 blocks of bricks that was torn down, old good brick that was torn up. Last but not least is our solar training funding that we need because we're struggling after spending all this time with these particular processes. That's our concern, Roseland Community Collaborative. We want you guys to pay attention to what we said today. That's it.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. I was, it's okay. But in the future, our rule is, and since I didn't catch it early, when you come up, if you have individuals come up, you get your 2 minutes, each one, and that's it. But to delegate it and to take 6, that's not what we're supposed to do.
I understand.
I moved and let it go on today because I didn't stop it early.
Okay, I understand.
I just
But
want
what
to be
we-
clear going forward.
Absolutely. I plan on not doing this again. I don't come down here for this. I only
All right.
come when it's
I'm-
necessary.
I'm fine.
No, but it's important that you all understand.
I
We
did
need
hear you. No, we heard you. All right, no. Stop. We heard you. You've used your time. I've extended it. And again, we heard you and we will address that. All right. Jennifer Newsom. The next one is Valerie Harris. Is Ms. Newsom here? Oh, come on.
Good morning.
We can hear you. Go
everyone.
ahead.
What are your plans for the senior building that is in the track of the Obama Center? Will this be like the Lincoln Perry Apartments or Robert Lawrence Apartments? You know, those places were left in deplorable conditions. And the money was spent, and there's no accountability. Yes, the seniors are angry and disappointed. Now put yourself in their place. How would you feel if you had to live in these conditions where nothing is ever completed? How would you like it if your parents or relatives lived in these undesirable conditions? What you saw today were very, very angry seniors. These are the seniors that actually helped Martin Luther King years ago protest. We have got to have some morality here. You have to really see what they're feeling. And until you live in those conditions, I challenge any of you, live there for a weekend. Do a Jane Byrne. See how you'd like it.
You have 30 seconds.
What was the senior building?
Any senior building.
Go by the Obama Library you were mentioning.
Kenneth Campbell.
Kenneth Campbell.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I do know of a situation where the paramedics was in the elevator with the person that was having a stroke, and they got stuck on the 17th floor. That is unacceptable.
You know, as you leave, I've heard so much about the elevators, and we know they're bad.
I know.
We put a contract out to fix them. What else
know.
can we do? I can't go back and repair
No, you
20
can't.
years. But and I know Gene wants me to not go there, but enough is enough.
I know.
We're working on fixing them. So what else can we do?
Mr. Hooker, if you want my honest opinion, some of those elevators, actually, the parts that belong to those elevators, they don't even make them anymore.
Well,
they probably just need replacing.
Well, our deal is we will have the elevators working properly.
Right.
That's what we're paying for. That's what we're going to get.
Okay.
And I know Gene and others don't want me doing this, but I'm just telling you, we've sat here, we've gone through the contract, we've got money set aside for it, and we're fixing them.
I know.
So that's what I'm here to tell you.
I know.
And we will fix them and have them working properly.
And I understand.
All right.
I understand.
done.
In my building, they've been down for 2
All
weeks,
right.
and let me tell you, it helped me some.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, may I just?
Yes, you may.
I just have to interrupt if I may, because I want to say that I personally went out to some senior buildings to look at those elevators.
Yeah.
Because when I heard that the elevators were not working, I'm a senior, it just touched me. And I just want to thank Ms. Liu and Mr. Tallison and Mr. Mocher for coming to my home early last week in the morning, that we went out there. And I want to say, the lady said that she was in her 70s. Well, I'm around in that area, but I had to climb a ladder to go up from the ground floor to the second level on a ladder, not a leaning ladder, but a ladder with spindles like this that you had to climb up. And I said, you know something? I want you to know that you are in my heart. I was born and raised here, and I just want you to know that those of us sitting on this board, we do care for you. And we are about trying to make things better for you. I can't sit in my house and you're going through this. That bothers me. So I went out there, and I'm going to continue to go and to see what is going to be done. I thank the chairman saying we are fixing it, and that's what we need to do. I even got some information from instructional, the digest. I love architecture. There was an interesting article in there about you can build your own elevators. And I wanted to bring the article here for the people to read it. And I also have my information here, Ms. Lula. You all said that you were going to allow me to sit with you with the language, that you have technical language that I may not understand, but I'm ready to be in your class so that I can understand the language that you're presenting to me so that I can know what I'm talking about, what I'm looking for. So I just want to share with you, I went up the ladders, and I didn't have anybody to help me, but God helped me to get up the ladder because I'm concerned, and we're concerned, and we're not sitting up here and not taking care of the business. That is not right. And I just want to say that all I've learned, I learned in kindergarten. I was a kindergarten teacher. But anyway, God loves you, and we love you, and we're in this together because we are family. Thank you. And I think you can give me a hand for that.
So is there Valerie Harris here? William Scott. Okay, Mr. Scott. The next person is Kimberly Baggett.
Good morning. Yes, it's still good morning. Good morning. I've been on a 1-year sabbatical exactly, because it was a year ago last year that I appeared here before the 7th appearance before the Summer Youth Program, Learn and Earn, under Ebony Campbell. I'm so excited about going back this week to work with the CHA youth because they have never disappointed me in 55 years in education. That I look forward to what we will do excitingly this summer. Even before I meet them, I know all that I need to recycle them into excellence is already there. If you know that in advance, you will not be disappointed. Therefore, I have not been disappointed in over a half century in education. I appear here this morning, minus 2 days before my 78th birthday, because my residency at the Rosenwald has been somewhat remiss in having a voice for the residents who reside there. I'm sitting right next to the brother who told me about some slots there a couple of years ago, and I jumped so quickly when this was announced at a SHAC meeting. Senior slots are available at the prestigious Rosenwald. I've met Mr. Julius Rosenwald's grandson. I visited his synagogue. I've seen his house in Hyde Park. I'm familiar with his track record in the South.
You have 30 seconds.
I was hoping that after all is said and done, at least the First Amendment could come into the Rosenwald. We're not worried about the nuances and reimbursements of LAC and CAC and all the other acronyms. We're just talking about the rights of residents to express their concerns orderly and legitimately apart from management. So we hope that can be done, and there also is no resident newsletter where we can have that option. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Baggett?
How y'all doing?
We're doing well, thank you. And
Oh,
Nancy?
what's your last name?
Baggett,
And you belong to who?
Mary Baggett. So,
All right.
I'm basically here because November 9th, I received a call from Lake Park stating to come in for November 17th to fill out, the paperwork to, do the screening for an apartment. I go through the screening, I do all the paperwork. I hadn't received no call, heard anything from them, so I had to give them a call. I give them a call. I go up there. They tell me that I was denied. So, and then they tell me like they couldn't reach my job. I go to my job said, yeah, they called, we tried to send them out something, but we never got back in touch with them. So I run around City Hall, I run around the laborers union, I did everything I needed to do. I bring in all my paperwork. After I bring in everything, they tell me like, you haven't been, they keep giving me the runarounds, but they're not telling me anything, basically. So out of nowhere, I'm still getting in contact with them. I'm still bringing them things. They mention my son. I end up having to provide proof of that he was my son and I take care of him. So she said that was a problem. Like I didn't give her all of that. So they sent me out a letter that was postmarked January 14th. I received it January 21st, but the letter was dated for December 5th. So I received the letter. I ended up, because I had the envelope, the lady downstairs let me put in for a mitigation. I put in for the mitigation, and
I didn't hear from nobody for a while. So I reached out. I continuously reached out, been reaching out, and I'm just now, I end up hearing from the guy, Jason Kidd, and he told me we'll do the litigation over the phone. He said just send him my income. So I sent him both incomes. Mind you, I make $40,000 a year. So I'm trying to figure out, they're all saying that it's because of my income. How? And then they tell me that
Your
you're going to
time
go
is
back
up.
on the list. But then they tell me, no, you have to be removed from the list.
Okay, I'll come talk to you.
Okay.
All right. Nancy Curran? And the next one is Mary Baggett.
I'm Nancy Curran. I'm an owner in
Yes.
an opportunity or a landlord. And I was here several months ago, Mr. Hooker, and you said
Yeah.
someone would get back in touch with me about a problem, and nobody did. So I circled back around, and the problem is I had a tenant that owes me several $1,000s and just quit paying. And then, long story short, CHA told me to evict her, do everything, and I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I have all the documentation, I have everything, and they found her a new house. And I just think it's a little bit ridiculous when you have 45,000 people on the wait list that you let somebody live for free. And basically, not only are you stealing from me, you're kind of stealing from the taxpayers too, if people get to live for free and then you just find them a new house. Anyway, so nobody would give me the protocol. When something happens, what is the protocol? And I've been working with Karen Humphreys, who isn't very nice, and Katie Ludwig, who won't just do her job and explain what protocol is. So about 8 months and 150 emails later, I finally got a meeting with, I don't know who I'm supposed to be meeting with to find out what protocol is. I've asked her, she said she's going to have a meeting with herself, and I said, but you know all this. Why are you at this meeting? Because you don't know what to do. And she said, well, we're going to get enforcement involved. I'm like, but enforcement's been involved, so we don't need to wake them up for this meeting. I said, so what I would like
You
to
have
do
30
is
seconds.
get legal involved. Just, I don't need to meet with everybody because everybody has all my documentation, they're doing nothing. And I said, nobody knows protocol at CHA what to do when someone quits paying their rent. And so I asked to just meet with a legal person because I assumed they would know what to do. And they refused to give me a name of a legal person. So I would like to know who can I contact for protocol about what happens when a tenant quits paying.
When is that meeting scheduled?
Is scheduled for, and by the way, nobody will get back to me. Let me say, you're emailed on every single email. I don't know if you read your emails or you have admin do it, and Mr. Sawyer as well. That's the only way. If I just email
When
regular
you schedule
people,
the meeting?
Monday, the 20th.
All right, so Mr. Beverly will be at that meeting with you. He's the general counsel.
I
They'll
see that.
explain
I don't
to
know
you
if
the
it's a
protocol.
staff or if it was actually you.
He'll be
Okay.
there.
Very good. Thank you.
Mary Baggett?
Hello, how y'all doing? I have some concerns in regards to a senior that lives in my development. She's blind, and she's been confined to her unit. And I've been speaking in regards to this about 2 years now to your staff, but nothing is being done to help this lady. She can't come down the stairs. She's confined into one room and not able to move around. She's even failed. So I have definitely been in touch with your staff in regards to this.
Is she elderly?
She's an elderly senior.
And has anyone asked her to move to a senior development
Mm,
accommodation?
not to my knowledge, I
All right,
don't
so
know.
I'll get back to you and get the name.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Okay, Danisha Shoemaker? Good, thank you.
Since 2007, I've been able to find individuals Section 8 and low income in different counties that need minorities in order for the county to run, pretty much be funded. On a Pacific site, however, I'm a voucher holder. Since 2010, I've applied for, these are just situations. I've applied for the Section 3 program, have 2 degrees, one in psychology, one in criminal justice. Haven't been hired. My sister was illegally evicted, not even 30 days. She served a year and a half in the Cook County. A new law for nonviolent or something like that took place. She's a battered woman, and she's displaced, and I'm advocating for her right now. But I'm yet in the Woodlawn area, making sure I get online every day for individuals to find housing, and I'm just asking right now for help for my sister, so she could go back into her own space right now.
I guess, what am I missing?
You're missing 3 things.
Okay.
I advocate for other people, but yet my sister is displaced.
All right, someone will talk to you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Earl Hall? Is there Earl Hall here? Evelyn Jones? Evelyn Jones? What about Mike Harris? Is there Mike Harris here? I was looking for Mike Harris. Is he here? You've been up already. You told us what you want to tell us. No. All right. Well, you do know who to talk to, and we're going to make sure that happens, okay? All right, well, there's no Mike Harris?
No Mike Harris.
Okay. Well, all right, then. Since that was the last registered speaker, I would like to thank you for your comments and your recommendations, and we do look at them, and your concerns. We will distribute the responses to your comments at the July 17th meeting. I will now present a motion to go into closed session for approximately 30 minutes. In addition to items 13, 14, and 15 listed on the agenda, and in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, the board may discuss matters under the following exceptions: personnel-related matters under C1 and C2, pending imminent and probable litigation under C11, purchase and sale of lease and real estate properties under C5 and C6, and audit review under C29. May I have a second, please? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed votes? We will now go into closed section and be back in approximately 30 minutes. Thank you.
This summer, our youth not only learned in the classroom, but in the field at companies across the city of Chicago. Our summer youth programs are important because we focus on our academic enrichment. Our kids are in the classroom, so they're not experiencing any of the summer learning loss. It gives them an opportunity to continue with what they've learned during the school year. They're not missing the opportunity to learn more about fields such as, science, math.
I like it a lot, and it's like I'm learning, I'm having fun, I'm meeting new people, having friendship with the teachers.
So our young people had an awesome time traveling around the city where they were able to visit places like 1871, ComEd. They went to Wrigley Field where they visited the Cubs. They went to Cinespace, the Greater Food Depository. So our youth were able to go to the companies to have more of an inside look and to get a little more of the ins and outs of the companies and what they do on a day-to-day. They were able to experience what it is like real time and meet some of the people who work at the companies. So this is a great opportunity for them because they not only get the classroom experience, but they can go out and really see what it is their careers are centered around. They get kind of real-time, one-on-one experience. They see the ins and outs of what it is they're interested in.
Those great opportunities and so forth, they get to sit there and brag about that. They get to talk about that. It always seems like there's a first here, and I don't want to do the first. I want to do the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So I want to continue. This is what CHA is all about.
I designated 2016 to be the year of the youth, and what a year it turned out to be. Our young people showed that with determination,
creativity and commitment, they will build a better world for all of us. We are proud of all they accomplished in 2016, so congratulations to our young people as we continue to build a bright future together.
So welcome to the Windy City Harvest Legend South Allotment Garden. Legend South is a partnership farm of Windy City Harvest between CHA Bryn Michaels and the Chicago Botanic Gardens Windy City Harvest Program.
I've learned a lot from working in the garden, how things come from seeds to actual plants and fruit and vegetables.
To come out and plant your seeds and then see them grow, oh man, that's an exhilarating experience. I'm serious. You know, it took me back to my childhood when I was with my mother. Yeah, I've participated in this garden for 4 years, and each year we get crops, beautiful, bigger, and everything.
Here in the allotment garden, we have people kind of growing for their own personal consumption, experimenting with varieties, and learning with each other as a community.
This is a tomato. It's ripe, it's ready to pick. So I'm taking them home with me today. Harvesting is my favorite part. And eating healthy at home. You get to actually grow your own things and bring them home.
Yay, Bronzeville! It's Christmas in the middle of summer.
It is often said that good things come to those who wait. Well, in this case, I'd have to say a great thing has come to a community that waited for over a decade.
This is what CHA is all about. Next time you come out here, hopefully within the next 24 months, there are going to be units out there. There's going to be a great synergy. We have Mariana's being built. We have excess tennis is being built. We're building up in Bronzeville. We're recreating communities, and we're trying to get back to what we lost.
This community has really not had anything for the little kids to do. And it's just amazing to see what progress we have achieved for our babies. This is amazing. I can't wait for my kids to be able to interact, have a new park, new swimming facilities. This is awesome. This is really awesome.
Effort was to make sure, from our seniors to our kids, that they have an art and rec center, swimming, so they can learn, all be safe, and have great activities here, and have this beating heart of Bronzeville.
The new Ellis Park and Recreational Center will serve as a beacon and safe haven for youth and provide swimming lessons, and it has a gym, and it has all those things young people come to a recreational center for.
Just look at this.
Yeah.
This is a true testament as to how community voice regarding a community need can be supplied by business and government in partnership.
Partnership is what got us here, along with help from Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who took us across the finish line.
I come here because I am excited this new building is in my neighborhood. I'm happy teens like me have a place to hang out, swim, and take art classes. Thank you all for coming to my favorite park today. I hope you come back soon.
here at the Check Change Control celebration event for senior residents of CHA. This is the 5th year that we partnered with the American Heart Association. They have their blood pressure checked twice a month. They learn about education, about nutrition, about exercise, about self-care, and how to keep themselves healthy, keep their blood pressure low, and so forth.
Exercise benefited me the most because I do a lot of walking, but to understand the stretch moves from the Park District, for me, was invaluable. I wanted to take that teacher home with me because I felt every move that she had us feel, and the difference something so simple can make. So I was really appreciative. I'm very glad I took the class.
It's an honor to be here today to celebrate the completion and formal opening of the 65th Infantry Regiment Buccaneers building.
This new housing complex will provide nearly 50 more units of affordable housing for our veterans and their families. This means that with this complex, we have added an additional 225 units of affordable housing for our veterans.
This complex, made possible by a partnership of the state and federal government, will provide critical health care, education, and employment services to veterans.
I'm a 10-year veteran from the Air Force, so I know how important it is for veteran housing, and my hat goes off to you. Every time you see that flag raised up, that's about veterans who serve their country well.
This gorgeous building that you see, I keep referring it to that it moves, it has aspects, has a lot of special features in it. It's beautiful both inside and outside.
Yeah, today's event was to do outreach to residents that reside on the South Side, to connect them with companies and employers.
we're able to connect with candidates individually and talk about their skills and their desires for a job.
It helped me improve a lot because I learned different things from different people that talking to them. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to carry that with me into my next job opportunity.
We are here to ensure that our residents are aware of the Section 3 field office, where we're located, and the services that we provide.
All the vendors are here, and what's so great about it, all of them are hiring. So we have someone here for everyone that fits everyone's needs. It's so important that our folks that want to work get an opportunity to get a chance to work.
Today I'm back. And today I got a full-time job. I'm not no part-time worker.
Well, so far this event has been helping me out. I feel confident today. The job opportunities are great. It's a great blessing and many doors are opening for me. I'm looking forward to it.
So we want you to know that what you think, what you say, what you think needs to change, can change very quickly if you have the right place, the right audience. Today, you have been set up to be in the right place with the right audience.
And we talked about our involvement after school, which is being more involved in our community, such as protests, community service.
Another one is involve aldermen in youth-led meetings, build a connection, meaning bring aldermen to like CPS schools, pull the students in like their communities, talk to them.
Working wages, crime, city transportation. This all has a big impact.
She sees a lot, like the light poles are down on the floor or whatever, and we're just trying to like talk about how we should like come together and like get stuff in the community. And
Know that you've got to take this back to wherever you've come from. This conversation can't stop because you're not sitting at a table. This conversation has to continue because you take it back to the table. There's power in what you think, and there's power in what you say, but there's greater power in community, right? So when you have a table full of 5 or 10 of you to have this conversation, and then you pull in the appropriate adults, you can change some minds.
If we want to help each other and nourish ourselves to make sure that we're all safe, I believe that we all should come together as a band to be strong with one another and to truly be a successful area and community with each other.
So I just want my students to have confidence that they need to tackle anything, whether that's rapping, that's sports, that's education, being a teacher. I want them to know that they become not who they want to be, but who they believe themselves to be. I grew up on Lake Park Street, which is near the lake. And I grew up with my mom and my sister. My mom was a single mother. And we grew up all in through like Chicago Housing Authority every summer. That's where we would be going on field trips, to baseball games, to anything that would expose us to something different. In high school, I was working really hard. I had a 4.2 grade point average. I did so many extracurricular activities. I was in JROTC. I was on leadership staff in my school. I did so many things that basically set me aside. When I went off to college, I was adjusting so much to the culture shock. So all my family was still up in Chicago. So I hadn't quite yet adjusted or learned to get used to my environment in college yet. CHA helped me out with all of basically getting through my day-to-day activities. CHA not only provided the financial means for me to finish, but they provided me the guidance to say, okay, now that you've received this financial assistance, we're going to back you up and make sure that you understand. We had the take flight ceremonies where we actually talked about college and how to navigate financial aid. CHA coming in at that point and saying we support you and saying that here's how you navigate financial aid. This is how you get your get A's on reports and papers. Talk to your teachers. Those were keys that most students already had that I didn't have, so I really appreciate that.
Me going to college for the first time through like having the CHA scholarship, the Posse scholarship, and those supports that I needed, inspired my mom, and she graduated in the same year that I graduated. Our graduation was on the same day, and it was a really emotional moment for us because she decided to come to mine even though she had been trying to graduate for 10 years. I keep going a full circle, like with my life. I started in Chicago Housing Authority. I went to Chicago Public Schools. I got a scholarship to college, felt very successful. And then I realized something was missing. Had to go right back around to where I came from. That brought me to Teach for America.
The one thing I think about when I think about Jocelyn is her ability to reflect. It's not easy. Oftentimes people think like getting up in front of kids, oh, a teacher, anyone can be a teacher. It's really humbling. And she was able to realize that she might have failed the first few times and just get back up and try it again and do it again and reach out for help and just fight for these kids.
We have a lot of work to do in education, period, for our kids. We have so much work to do. We need dedicated, passionate people coming back to our kids and really being here, going through the struggles with them to help them come out on top. I'm just so humbled by this experience because I thought that I was going to see a lot of myself in these kids, but what I'm learning is that it's not about me seeing so much of myself. It's about me helping them realize helping them see themselves. I'm driving home and I see one of my kids at McDonald's with their families, and they're like, "Hi, Miss Charles, hi." The reward right now is coming from building those relationships and building those bonds with my kids every single day.
We're here at Roosevelt University today. We're really excited to be here. The great thing about today is that the Youth Summit is entirely youth-led. The CHA Youth Council came together and they told us what they wanted this day to be about.
I think it's really fun. And I wish that I would have came last year if there was one the year before, because, I met a lot of new people.
We want them to leave today to know that they are actually change agents and they can create the change, that they now have the skill set to create that change. And what we hope is that our youth leave today with a more solutions-oriented approach to the issues in their city.
When I first started MCFA, I was like, some kids are like really shy and stuff and they don't know how to speak out. So I hope today kids come like that and they walk out with like a whole different mindset and view the world a little bit differently. Like I want them to walk out knowing like, oh, I'm passionate about something and I want to change it and I want to speak about it.
Within the 2 years that I've been here, I've seen a lot of youth been able to step up and speak their voices. Because there's some youth who are scared, but if you give them a little push, they're able to come out and talk what they want to talk about.
I wasn't used to people asking me questions. I wasn't used to going to like resource events and stuff like that. I wasn't used to none of that. I was always at home. So when I got the opportunity to get out the house, I'm like, okay, sure, I'm gonna go do this. And then when I got out the house, I was kind of skeptical about it, but I opened up to it. I said, okay, what could be the harm in doing this? And then I grew as a person.
We are so excited to be celebrating our 10th anniversary Operation Warm event at CHA. We're giving out 9,000 coats today. We're expecting over 3,000 families from nearly every neighborhood in the city.
Families come back year after year and not only get a new coat for their kid who's outgrown the one from last year, but get connected with all these resources.
This is something that we got to continually support with our partnerships. Wells Fargo, Operation Warm, bring other parties to the table because it's just such a need.
This is great for the kids. They're so excited. You see lots of smiles on their faces. They're getting a brand new coat that is just for them. It's a fun, festive atmosphere here. You've got, mascots from the Chicago Bulls and from some of our corporate partners. You got the music. It's just a fun, lively event that is for them.
I was really excited because when they had it in my size and my favorite colors, I was like super excited. I was like jumping up and down with excitement because I like these two colors and it's like comfy and warm.
I like it because I like the color and I tried it on, it's very comfortable and it seems like it could really protect me in the winter.
All year long, people say, we're going to have the senior gala this year, and they ask, when is it going to be, where is it going to be, when are tickets going to be on sale. It's not only an event on December 9th, it's just in everyone's spirit all year long.
This is my third time coming to the Senior Gala and it's been fabulous. The togetherness, all the photographers are fantastic in here. We were able to take our pictures last year and take them home, but the atmosphere was just so grand. It was beautiful. And entertainment, oh, yeah, take me back to when I was younger.
It is great to be able to have an organization like CHA to work with here in Chicago. Oak Street Health, we're really glad that we have such a great partner to promote senior welfare and to have people do well.
It makes the seniors feel appreciated, and it gives us something to do, something nice to do. And you get a chance to dress up and come out to a nice hotel. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Today we are finally here. A lot of people say we couldn't be here. We weren't going to be here. Breaking ground for the new Lathrop, bringing a new and better future for our residents and this community.
To be here on this historic day as we bring Lathrop Homes back to the future, to where it was intended to be, a place of beauty, of openness for the community, is very exciting, and for the residents who live here.
This is the culmination of 8 years of work. So many partners to get here, to begin work, to start the redevelopment of the Lathrop Homes.
I'm just proud today to be part of this. I'm proud that we're going to have not only the affordable housing and the public housing on site. With your fight and all of you, we got an agreement with the CEO that the courts codified that all of the units that aren't returned here will return to the north side, not another part of the city.
We're rehabbing 16 of the historic residential buildings north of Diversey and adding 1 new residential building. And in total, that's 414 beautifully designed, and in the case of the existing buildings, fully rehabbed homes that we're creating.
How do you build a successful mixed income community? And I think, again, the residents are key. And we will make sure, and we are committed to making sure that all of the residents are able to come together as Lathrop buildings get turned over so that we have a successful mixed income community.
But now I know what that old saying said, on the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy had to say,
She kept saying, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And she said, I journeyed out to look for something that was already here, right here in my own backyard. All I had to do was look in my own backyard. And it was there. I want to thank you all for coming into our backyard and helping us find that dream.
One, two, three.
If you're going to college, make some noise. College students, make some noise.
We're proud to celebrate right here in the room with tomorrow's leaders who have worked hard and are now headed off to college.
I really do want every incoming freshman in this room to have the mentality that you are where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Through the generosity of an anonymous corporate donor, we are also providing each student today with a refurbished laptop. Yes!
For nearly a decade, the CHA's Owner Symposium has been the premier event for property owners, managers, and investors. Each year we add something new that enhances the experience greater than a year before. Oh wow, I remember this picture. People tell me all the time how much they love the Owner Symposium. We've been doing this a long time, but you know what? It just keeps getting better. Here's what you can expect when you attend the symposium. A packed agenda of seminars, panel discussions, and interactive workshops hosted by industry leaders, opening session and keynote presentation, networking, free lunch, and an afternoon raffle, and most importantly, the opportunity to connect with approximately 1,000 industry professionals. If you or someone you know is interested in learning more about the HCB program, or you are involved but want to learn how to be successful, this is the event for you. The Owner Symposium will be held Saturday, October 6th at the Hyatt Regency Chicago, located at 151 East Upper Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois. We hope to see you there.
Today we're here at the 9th Annual CHA Owners Symposium to provide information to our owners who work in the program with us so that they can serve Chicago better, so that we can serve Chicago better, so we can build stronger families, build stronger neighborhoods, and ultimately build a stronger city.
This event is amazing, and it's a lot that I don't know, and it's a lot that I'm learning from this event. I have about 5 or 6 pages of notes. You know, I'm going to go over everything, all of my different packets, everything you need in order to close on a property or maintain a property. Everything is here.
Having Deputy Mayor Zopp here, she brings a perspective that is crucial for our owners to really focus on, because it's not just about their property, right? It's about how their property plays a role in that community.
You can't have a strong neighborhood if people don't have quality housing options and the chance to have an affordable, clean, beautiful place to stay. You are all here because you're a critical part of making those options happen for us here at the City of Chicago.
It's been a great show because it's been well attended, and they've been asking questions about what we can do and how to make their properties better. I think it lets people get a lot of knowledge on different products and new products coming out.
And we were overwhelmed with the attendance. There was not one chair, 2 chairs were only vacant. And 2 people told me they had been to the CHA Symposium last year, went to the seminar, saw the property tax assessment seminar, and came back this year for that. So that was, you know, they're hungry for that information.
There's opportunities that we can network, we can provide information, some new information. We want to make sure that everyone's on track about our new initiatives, our current initiatives, and how we can do our job better to serve our residents and serve our owners.
This summer, our youth not only learned in the classroom, but in the field at companies across the city of Chicago. Our summer youth programs are important because we focus on our academic enrichment. Our kids are in the classroom, so they're not experiencing any of the summer learning loss. It gives them an opportunity to continue with what they've learned during the school year. They're not missing the opportunity to learn more about fields such as, science, math.
I like it a lot, and it's like I'm learning, I'm having fun, I'm meeting new people, having friendship with the teachers.
So our young people had an awesome time traveling around the city where they were able to visit places like 1871, ComEd. They went to Wrigley Field where they visited the Cubs. They went to Cinespace, the Greater Food Depository. So our youth were able to go to the companies to have more of an inside look and to get a little more of the ins and outs of the companies and what they do on a day-to-day. They were able to experience what it is like real time and meet some of the people who work at the companies. So this is a great opportunity for them because they not only get the classroom experience, but they can go out and really see what it is their careers are centered around. They get kind of real-time, one-on-one experience. They see the ins and outs of what it is they're interested in.
Those great opportunities and so forth, they get to sit there and brag about that. They get to talk about that. It always seems like there's a first here, and I don't want to do the first. I want to do the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So I want to continue. This is what CHA is all about.
I designate 2016 to be the year of the youth, and what a year it turned out to be. Our young people showed that with determination, creativity, and commitment, they would build a better world for all of us. We are proud of all they accomplished in 2016, so congratulations to our young people as we continue to build a bright future together.
So welcome to the Windy City Harvest Legend South Allotment Garden. Legend South is a partnership farm of Windy City Harvest between CHA Bryn Michaels and the Chicago Botanic Gardens Windy City Harvest Program.
I've learned a lot from working in the garden, how things come from seeds to actual plants and fruit and vegetables.
To come out and plant your seeds and then see them grow, oh man, that's an exhilarating experience. I'm serious. You know, it took me back to my childhood when I was with my mother. I've participated in this garden for 4 years, and each year we get crops, beautiful, bigger, and everything.
Here in the allotment garden, we have people kind of growing for their own personal consumption, experimenting with varieties, and learning with each other as a community.
This is a tomato. It's ripe, it's ready to pick. So I'm taking them home with me today. Harvesting is my favorite part. And eating healthy at home. You get to actually grow your own things and bring them home.
Yay, Bronzeville! It's Christmas in the middle of summer.
It is often said that good things come to those who wait. Well, in this case, I'd have to say a great thing has come to a community that waited for over a decade.
This is what CHA is all about. Next time you come out here, hopefully within the next 24 months, there are going to be units out there. There's going to be a great synergy. We have Mariana's being built. We have excess tennis being built. We're building up Bronzeville. We're recreating communities, and we're trying to get back to what we lost.
This community has really not had anything for the little kids to do. And it's just amazing to see what progress we have achieved for our babies. This is amazing. I can't wait for my kids to be able to interact, have a new park, new swimming facilities. This is awesome. This is really awesome.
Effort was to make sure, from our seniors to our kids, that they have an art and rec center, swimming, so they can learn, all be safe, and have great activities here, and have this beating heart of Bronzeville.
The new Ellis Park and Recreational Center will serve as a beacon and safe haven for youth and provide swimming lessons, and it has a gym, and it has all those things young people come to a recreational center for.
Just look at this. Yeah. This is a true testament as to how community voice regarding a community need can be supplied by business and government in partnership.
Partnership is what got us here, along with help from Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who took us across the finish line.
I come here because I am excited this new building is in my neighborhood. I'm happy teens like me have a place to hang out, swim, and take art classes. Thank you all for coming to my favorite park today. I hope you come back soon.
celebration event for senior residents of CHA. This is the 5th year that we partnered with the American Heart Association. They have their blood pressure checked twice a month. They learn about education, about nutrition, about exercise, about self-care, and how to keep themselves healthy, keep their blood pressure low, and so forth.
Exercise benefited me the most because I do a lot of walking, but to understand the stretch moves from the Park District, for me, was invaluable. I wanted to take that teacher home with me because I felt every move that she had us feel and the difference something so simple can make. So I was really appreciative. I'm very glad I took the class.
What about me? Now that we're losing our costume. Okay. Okay. All right.
I'll be looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon. The commissioners have just finished the closed session and we are ready for the second portion of our business session. The board secretary will call the roll. Here. Here. Thank you, Lee. At this time, I would like to present a motion for the approval of the minutes for the regular and closed meetings for May 15, 2018. May I have a motion? Okay, section. All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed votes, recusals, or abstentions? Hearing none, the minutes are hereby approved. So during the closed session, commissioners discussed the following agenda items. Item number 13, which is the settlement of Mary Howard, etc. Case, and I would ask James Bebley to speak on that a moment. We had item number 14, which was recommendations to acquire 6-unit residential building at 2016 to 2017 North Harlem. And we had item number 15, which is an amendment to the Personnel Action Report that includes a 2-year extension to the CEO's employment contract. But before we vote on that, I'd ask James Bebley, our legal general counsel, to speak on item number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 13 is authorization to settle the matter of Mary Haywood, Martha Lewis, Annie Steubenfield, A.D. Lindsay, S.E. McAllister, and Sandra Walton versus the Chicago Housing Authority, case number 1115 CV 8317. The Haywood litigation relates to the Brooke Amendment to the Housing Act of 1937, which caps rent, inclusive of utility costs, at 30% of a public housing tenant's monthly adjusted income. Plaintiffs and the putative class are current and former members of the CHA-owned public housing who allege that the utility allowances they received were insufficient to cover their utility expenses and that consequently they paid rent in excess of the Brooke Amendment's rent ceiling between August 7, 2005 and September 1, 2017. Plaintiffs also claimed that the utility allowances they received were not adjusted or reviewed as required by HUD regulations. This proposed settlement would resolve all claims related to that matter. The final details of the proposed class settlement are subject to final approval by a federal judge and to modifications that may be needed based on the court's review. Thank you.
Great. Are there any further questions or comments from commissioners on item number 13, 14, and 15? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve item 13, 14, and 15?
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Second.
I'm sorry. Is there a second? Yeah. All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, the motion carries and the resolution for item 13 through 15 are approved. If there's no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. This meeting is now adjourned. See you on June 9th. On July. Thank you, July 19th. Thank you very much. Goodbye now.